It's 10 o'clock. It's time for the council to be in session. Will the council members please come to the council chamber?
you can put it on the Tuesday after.
Would you rather do that?
I know. You know, sometimes people get afraid that they're going to become inactive and stop working and die, or they hear of friends
I
who
could
stop
find so
working and
much
die.
else to do. Yeah,
But you know, you can't say that until you get that age. I'm feeling like
Would the council please come to order? Would the council please come to order? We have some presentation before we start with the Pioneer Women, and while we're waiting for the other members to come in, let me just point out that this is a meeting of the City Council for the City of Los Angeles on the 26th day of March 1999. There are 15 council districts in the city. The regular meeting days are Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. We are currently being viewed by cable subscribers throughout the Los Angeles area on Channel 35, and we're also being monitored by council phone. So we'll call on Mr. Ridley Thomas for a presentation first. Ruth, you're next.
He said 20 minutes, he'll be here.
Yeah, well, we'll still
Got plenty of...
Mr. President, members of the council, we have yet another extraordinary opportunity to acknowledge someone that has been a part of the LA scene for a considerable amount of time. And with that in mind, I'm going to ask Mr. Farrar if you would join me in this presentation. I speak of the one and only Blake Coleman. And Mr. President, if you would come forward, I think this presentation would be heightened. Blake Coleman is the owner, operator of the well-known main event at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And all of you will know him, recognize him, and appreciate him. And we're just going to ask Blake if you would come forward and join me at this time. Give him a big hand, won't you? The one and only Blake Coleman. Mr. President, you know full well that Blake Coleman is a 50-year veteran in the field of marketing and promotion. first with Schaefer Pen Company, then the Diners Club in Disneyland during the amusement park's 1955 inaugural year in Anaheim. After coordinating merchandising for many major sports venues and events, Blake came to Los Angeles, to the Coliseum, where he has devoted his talents for nearly a quarter of a century. Just about any major event has benefited from Mr. Coleman's merchandising expertise, including the 1984 Olympics, major concerts, and, of course, the USC football games. And it's with this in mind that we take this opportunity to say to this native of Kansas who attended Indiana University and served our country in the Navy from 1942 until 1946, that we appreciate all that he has done at the events, the Rose Bowl, at the events and the Big Ten Club, at the Pro Bowl, the Los Angeles Open, that persons such as Blake Coleman make Los Angeles the great city that it is. And we pause this morning to acknowledge him for his modest but yet very, very important way of serving the people of Los Angeles through the expertise that he has developed over these many years. Mr. President?
Yeah, Mark, I think you said it very well. I've known Blake for many, many years, and he is really an outstanding individual. I think he's certainly a credit to our community, and he's a credit to the Coliseum. He's done such good work there that we appreciate it, and we hope that everything goes well, Blake, that you'll be there for another 50 years.
Blake has invited rather distinguished guests to join him, and we're going to ask all those who are here in support of Blake Coleman if you would just stand, and he'll acknowledge you at the appropriate time. But if you are here with Blake as a part of his guest, and please give them a big round of applause. They are here to say a good word. And so it's by adoption of this resolution that the Los Angeles City Council in its entirety, we commend you, Blake Coleman, for your contribution to the city of Los Angeles, particularly to the Los Angeles Coliseum, and we wish you much success in the years ahead. And this is on behalf of all members, and we present it with a great degree of admiration and respect. Mm-hmm. Mr. Blake Coleman.
This is really an honor for my other nickname of a balloon peddler. And I've seen many changes at the Coliseum. It's been part of my life. And this is an honor today from two gentlemen that I like and appreciate. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, members of the council, we have some very distinguished visitors from Ghana, and I'd like to ask them to come up, please. Mark, would you join me? We have Derek Obubi, who is the Director of Human Resources for the Ghana Civil Aviation Authority. They're visiting Los Angeles. We're honored to have him, and we also have Ms. Justice Sophia Akuko, who is a Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Two very distinguished visitors from Ghana coming to our city to pay their respects, and we certainly are proud to have you in our city, and we hope that you enjoy your visit here very, very much.
Thank you, Mr. President, and to our honored guest. It might be noted that a part of their visit is in connection with one of the airport commissioners who is attempting to make international connections, of course. And so, Commissioner Warren Valdry, we thank you for being a gracious host today and appreciate the work you're doing on behalf of the City of Los Angeles here and abroad. We thank you, and once again, we welcome you to the City of Los Angeles.
Mr. President, I think Ms. Galanter is next.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Galanter.
Where are my students? Come on, students. And advisors. Mr. President and members of the council, I'm very pleased to introduce to you today a group of students from the Westchester Neighborhood School who are being recognized this morning for their commitment and not only their commitment, but their actual help in helping families who are hungry. As you know, every Christmas and Thanksgiving, people think about the fact that there are many people who are homeless and hungry, and donations to food banks and charity organizations who take care of hungry people tend to go up around Christmas time. Then they hit bottom around March. And these young ladies, as part of a school project, were working with the Westchester Neighborhood School was working with the LAX Food Pantry to provide food, to collect canned goods to be given to needy families. And when they learned that the low point in the year is in March, they decided they could do something about it. And so, working with their advisors, who I'm also going to introduce in a moment, they organized a canned food drive at their school at the time of the year when nobody's thinking about it, and they ultimately collected over 2,500 cans, enough to feed all the clients at the LAX Food Pantry for the whole month of March. And this is something they didn't have to do. They took it upon themselves to organize a school-wide collection program. Every week, every student was asked to bring in a certain type of canned food. The girls collected the cans, they sorted them by what they contained, they boxed them up, they color coordinated the boxes so everybody would get, you wouldn't get all vegetable soup, but you'd get some of the different things that you might need. And then they presented the boxes to the directors at the food pantry at one of their regular assemblies, which I couldn't make, but one of my staff members attended on my behalf. And this is the kind of thing that young people ought to be encouraged to do, and they certainly ought to be recognized and commended when they've gone and done it. And so I'm very pleased this morning to honor five young ladies who are accompanied by their advisors, Mrs. Chambers, Ms. Nakawatazi, and Mrs. Khan. And I'm going to now introduce you to them and give them each a certificate commending their actions, and then I'm going to ask them to do for you one of the things that their school is particularly noted for. This is the school that has a two-verse Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and I know that all of you know the first verse that everybody knows, but I'm going to ask our friends here if they would treat you to a rendition of the next verse that I hope one day all of us will adopt as just a regular part of the Pledge of Allegiance. As you know, the Pledge of Allegiance has been changed a number of times over the years, and it's about ready for the next installment as well. But first I would like to introduce and recognize Sarah Marmolevsky. Hang on to that. Did I say that right? Cecily David. Christina Weir. Oh, good, you even lined up in order. Serena Fishman. And who else have I got here? And the Westchester Neighborhood School. I think one of your advisors gets to accept this one. What each of these says is thank you for your care and concern and commitment to ending hunger in our community. So with your permission, we're going to have, who wants to say anything? And then we'll do our Pledge of Allegiance. All right, there you go.
Thank you for letting us be here today, and thank you for the beautiful certificates.
Thank you for your work.
We really worked hard.
Well, that's the idea. Hard work is good for you. It builds character. Builds character, and it helped a lot of people, so you should be very proud of yourselves. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Verse 2 of the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
1, 2, 3. I pledge allegiance to the earth on which I stand, one world, one people, undivided, with food, shelter, and justice for all.
Thank you, ladies. Okay, go around the back. Take pictures in the back. I got to do one more presentation. Okay, Phyllis, you're on.
Ruth, can you wait a second? Let's call the roll and officially
Okay.
go into session.
Okay.
Alatorre, Burnson, Chick, Fuhrer, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley, Thomas, Vornich, Wax, Walters, Ferraro, 10 members present and a quorum, Mr. President.
Okay, the first order of business.
Approval of the minutes.
All right, Ms. Galanter moves, Ms. Goldberg seconds. There's no objection, unanimous vote. Okay, Ms. Galanter?
Okay. I saved this one for second because I have a feeling some of you may want to say something as well. As you know, ladies and gentlemen, Phyllis Curry is retiring and leaving the city. And she's not going far. I already made plans for her next career, but which we won't discuss here. But I did want to, we've already presented this to Phyllis once at a reception I know many of you attended. It was one of the most wonderful parties I've seen since I've been at the city of Los Angeles. And I know you knew how many friends you had, but I did not realize they came out of the woodwork from everywhere. Phyllis, as you know, has worked for the city for about 30 years. It takes a whole page to recite her resume and history here in very small print, and I will spare you all of the details. But Phyllis started in 1968. She worked for the city administrative officer from 1973 to 1976, and then as a budget analyst. Then she became a labor negotiator. Then from 81 to 84, she was the rent control director. From in the first half of 84, she was directing audits. From 84 to 92, she was the assistant city administrative officer responsible for long-range financial planning and budgeting for capital needs, expansion of facilities, and creating new facilities. She did a whole series of things. In August of 1992 until February 1999, she moved to the Department of Water and Power as the chief financial officer. And I may say that among her many achievements, she actually got Joel Wax to say they were doing a good job. That she was doing a good job. Well, you know, Joel, you slipped. You actually complimented the department once, too. But I think that you should consider that one of your major achievements in your 30 years with the city. It has been my pleasure to work with Phyllis, particularly during her years at Water and Power, and I am really going to miss you a lot. But I think we all owe you an enormous debt of gratitude, not just those of us who've had the pleasure of working with you, but the residents of Los Angeles, the ratepayers of the Department of Water and Power, and all those friends who came out to the party, and it was a hell of a good party. So, Phyllis, I want to wish you all the best in your retirement. I know that you will not be idle. I can't quite imagine you idle, and besides which, I'm going to make sure that you're not. So congratulations from all of us, and best wishes. Have a wonderful time, but don't get too relaxed.
Mrs. Walder, did you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. But very quickly, I want to say that the city of Los Angeles is truly losing a pioneer woman. As we honor pioneer women today, certainly Phyllis represents that in our city. And in many other places, there are not many females who are chief financial officers of billion-dollar corporations. And you did that and did it grandly. And I have been pleased and honored to know you. As you may recall, we met at a conference before I ever came to City Hall. And I knew that City Hall had somebody who did things right when I met you. And I'm just so pleased to have had the opportunity to work with you. And I wish you the very best wherever you're going and whatever you're doing. And I'm not sure DWP is going to be as well off now that you're not there. I'm not at all convinced of that. And we're coming up on a very difficult time for DWP, so they're going to have to go a long way to husband the kind of resource that you brought to the workplace. The best of everything, Ms. Curry, and I do thank Councilwoman Galanter for bringing you before council today so that we can not only note your passing, but honor you for having been here.
Mr. Ridley Thomas?
Then you get to say everything you've always wanted to say.
Mr. President, members of the council, Ms. Walters' remarks are sufficient to cover those sentiments that I wish to express. Suffice it to say that, Ms. Curry, your contribution to the city of Los Angeles from the respective roles that you played is not only noteworthy but simply commendable. Your career path is one to be emulated by those who believe in hard work and setting high standards and accomplishing the same. And so I simply rise to acknowledge those things and to bid you farewell just for a respite at best, and look forward to the balance of what it is you will contribute. And I'm sure it will be matched by the distinguished career you've enjoyed here. And we thank you for all that you have done. Godspeed.
Okay, Phyllis, thank you.
Okay, it's yours.
We'll let you talk now, Phyllis. No, you don't want to talk, do you, Richard? Richard Alatorre would like to say something.
Mr. President and members, I met Phyllis when I was elected to the city council, and let me just tell you something, just a finer woman. You're not going to find a woman like her. She is extremely, extremely bright. Keith Comrie, I mean, she actually ran the operation, even though he'd like to think that he did. But, you know, whenever you had a numbers problem, one thing about her is that she was honest, straightforward, and just a real classy lady. And it was a fine for the Department of Water and Power when she went to work for them, and it is a tragic loss to Water and Power now that she has decided to retire and move on. But whatever Phyllis Curry does from this point on, she will always do it with great dignity and class. Phyllis, I miss you.
Everything has really been said. Ms. Walters spoke so eloquently. I just had to correct her on one word about that this wasn't your passing. You're passing through onto greater things. I think Phyllis Curry is probably the only high executive at Water and Power that I not only wanted to give a pay raise to, but I thought she wasn't getting enough, because she's someone who has truly earned everything that she has received, and the city has benefited tenfold for everything that she's given to it, and all of us are grateful for it. And today really is the appropriate day for you to be honored of all the other pioneer women who are here, that you, from within our city family, serve as that role model for all of us. And good luck to you, Phyllis. I think the world of you, and you know that.
We've moved the previous question, so no one else can talk except you, Phyllis.
Well, I want to thank the council for all of the support you've given me over the years. And you've particularly been supportive over the last six and a half years that I've been at Department of Water and Power. And I really appreciate that. It's been wonderful working for the city. It doesn't seem like 30 years has passed. And for those of you who don't know my true age, I came as a mere child. So it is particularly ironic that I would be getting this recognition on the day that my former boss is also going to be recognized. I spent many, many good years working for Keith Comrie. I learned a lot, and I think a lot of what I've accomplished at Department of Water and Power is really due to the advice and guidance that he gave me over the time when I worked for him. So again, thank you. I appreciate this, and I hope that in the future I can continue to make contributions to the city.
We'll find a way.
Thank you, Ms. Galanter. Why don't we start with the Pioneer Women? We have a lot of very distinguished people here today, and I'm going to first call on Paula Parada. Paula. Is Paula around?
Good morning. I'm not Paula Petrata. I'm Veronica Hendricks with the Commission on the Status of Women. Paula will probably be here in a moment.
Speak into the microphone and don't...
Okay, thank you. I'm Veronica Hendricks with the Los Angeles City Commission on the Status of Women, and we are celebrating the culmination of Women's History Month with the celebration of our pioneer women. Each council district has been proud to select a woman to represent their district. These women represent courage, they represent strength, and they represent the character that is just incredible in this city. We thank you so much for the contributions that you all have made to the city of Los Angeles, and we really do appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Mrs. Walters?
Thank you, Mr. President. I am honored this year to be the person to introduce the presentations of the 1999 Pioneer Women from Los Angeles in connection with Women's History Month. This year's theme is Women Putting Our Stamp on America. Truly, the history of women is the history of America. The theme speaks to the legacy of countless women who have contributed to the strength and character of this nation and certainly of this city, and indeed the world. As women, we have worked the land, we have cared for our children and those of others, we have nurtured our families, pursued careers, served charitable organizations, often all at the same time. We have proven our abilities in medicine, law, sports, education, performing arts, corporate management, the armed forces, and public service. History informs us that Sojourner Truth, the noted abolitionist, speaking at a Women's Rights Congress in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania in 1851, articulated all of the physical things that she could do as well as any man, plus giving birth to 13 children. She eloquently asked the group, "Ain't I a woman too?" And we must remember Sojourner Truth, for along the way when she did all of those things, advocated for abolition, advocated for women's rights, she was busy about bringing slaves physically out of slavery into the North where they could live a life, hopefully, of freedom. There's a nexus of women's rights and civil rights for African Americans in these United States. We just celebrated African American History Month and now Women's History Month. And history tells us that people, women who were involved in the women's rights movement, were also ardent abolitionists, and that ardent abolitionists were also women's rights advocates. And so we must never forget that, because these are two of the strongest movements for justice in our history. Each year, Congress approves a National Women's History Resolution, and each year, programs and activities in schools, workplaces, and communities have become more extensive as the appreciation and awareness of the contributions of women increases. We must do more than just remember the contributions of women in history. We must build on the work of those who have gone before us. We must continue to promote policies and programs that enable women to succeed in their careers, in their communities, and in their homes. We must continue to work to ensure women receive equal pay for equal work, equal access to the full range of educational opportunities, and an equal opportunity to retire with security. But not only the above enumerated goals, we must imbue every child, regardless of gender, color, or religion, that they can be and do whatever they desire. Ensuring those rights and those opportunities for women and people of color really assures and not limits those rights for every person. The history of Los Angeles, as is the history of the nation, is filled with women whose lives have transformed our communities. This year, as every year, the City Council and the Commission on the Status of Women celebrates Women's History Month by honoring 15 extraordinary women from diverse cultures, faiths, and aspirations who have volunteered themselves to be conduits of change. They have given tirelessly to improving the quality of life in our city, and they illustrate the accomplishments and perspectives of women who add to our legacy as a community. And with that, it's my pleasure to turn the microphone back to President Ferraro for the presentations.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Walters. That was really before we start with the presentations, Chief Bamatri has a film that he wants to show that ties in with this presentation today, I believe. Chief, you want to?
Thank you, President Ferraro, and I know this is kind of unprecedented, but it was one of those things that just happened, and it's really a direct tie into Pioneer Women today, honoring the Pioneer Women. A shift ago, and I'd like to have Al Hugo come up with his wife, and also Mr. Butler. What we had was, I know I've been before the council on numerous occasions talking about how our paramedics and our EMS services have become the front line for many people out there. Well, today I've got the actual proof of that, so I can put some pictures behind my words. And what we have for you is an actual childbirth that took place one shift ago, and unusual as it may be, we happen to have a documentary film team that was in the process of doing some ride-alongs with our members, so they have the actual footage. And let me roll the film now so you can see that, and then I'll talk just a little bit about it afterwards. But again, keep in mind this is Pioneer Women Day, and we have the birth of a baby girl.
That's right.
Got the syringe?
Right here, my hand. Do this. Oh, shit. Oh, it's out from my heart.
Hey, calm down, calm down.
Oh, look at him. And he's crying. Oh, that's your
There you go.
Oh, that's the first time I was in the baby boy. Look! What's going on? Skipping the car, I want to see.
Well, yeah, we got a kid out. We got a kid out.
It's a boy. What is it, sir? It's a boy.
It's a boy. Boy.
You okay, good? Hey, what about the mother?
Yeah. The man is such a...
We didn't, Chief, we didn't know it was X-rated film, but
I didn't either. We had to scramble here to get the film up here, but I appreciate you taking the time, and I want to certainly recognize the accomplishments of the service that our firefighters are out there on a daily basis doing. Literally, we're in the community. They knocked on the front door and said, "We need you now," across the street, and they were right. And I want to introduce firefighter Al Hugo and his wife Terry, who are here today, and ironically, they have 2 children, 2 boys, and Terry is due for their first girl next month. So although this is the first time that actually Al has been in the catcher position, he has had experience in the past delivering babies with the family. And I'd also like to just introduce Mr. Bob Knuckles, who was the film producer, and his producer actually, Jesse, is over here, and they happened to be on scene for that. And today, apropos on the Pioneer Women Day, but also on Keith Comrie Day, it's kind of out with the old and in with the new, so it's a pleasure to be here to honor them. So thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time.
thank you. All right. Members, Members of the council, now we'll start with the presentations, and I'll call on Mr. Alatorre first.
Mr. President and members, I couldn't think of a more worthy woman to recognize than the woman that I have chosen as a Pioneer Woman of the Year for my district. Her name is Juana Gutierrez. For more than 33 years, Juana has been a leader in the community, an organizer in the best sense of the word in the great community of Boyle Heights. She is the mother of 9 children. She has 18 grandchildren and 1 great-grandson. In 1985, when the state of California notified our community that they had intentions and had bought property right along the Los Angeles River, that they were going to construct a state prison. It was as a result of that and the leadership of Juana Gutierrez and others that formed what is now known as the Madres del Este de Los Angeles, the Mothers of East Los Angeles. Probably the largest single mobilization effort was organized by Juana and others that led ultimately to the defeat of the construction of the prison in East Los Angeles. It's probably the largest mobilization that's ever been held, second only probably to the mobilization against the war in Vietnam. The Madres of East Los Angeles have been successful, not only successful in the defeating of the construction of a state prison, but a much more environmentally oriented organization, an organization that believes in cleaning up the environment. You're never going to find than the Madres del Este de Los Angeles. They were singularly focused. They stopped the construction of a municipal waste incinerator that just was going to add further pollution into the community of Boyle Heights. That same year, they stopped the construction of an oil pipeline that was not an environmentally sound oil pipeline. And also, they're not only just keeping with their environmental consciousness, they have been involved in other projects. Projects like child mobilization, which she has been such a great believer in. The asthma program that the Madres of Este de Los Angeles have, the Community Youth Graffiti Program, abatement program. They have a scholarship fund where every year they award scholarships to worthy young people, young men and women that reside in the Boyle Heights area and in the eastern part of Los Angeles. And it is singularly run and organized by Juana Gutierrez and Las Madres del Este de Los Angeles. She has been a recipient of many awards. The most recent was a volunteer award from the President of the United States, where they recognized her vision, where they recognized her leadership, and her community service. She has received the Visionary Award from the National Latina Alliance. She's been Woman of the Year declared by both the California State Assembly and the California State Senate, and she won the Women of Courage Award given by the City of Los Angeles. To me, it's a great honor to present to Juana Gutierrez the award that she justifiably deserves as a Woman Pioneer of the Year for the 14th District. Juana, para mí es un privilegio presentar este reconocimiento para todos sus esfuerzos para mejorar el ambiente, pero más importante, la vida de la gente que vive en el este de Los Ángeles, en la comunidad de Boyle Heights. And she is joined by her husband, Ricardo, and Elsa, her daughter, who is an activist. Come on up. Who is an activist in the best sense of the word. The new Audubon Reservoir that is going to be constructed as a result of the work of Mike Hernandez and myself in Debs Park is as a result of the teachings of her mother to her daughter, and I just want to present this to Juana Gutierrez. Juana. Flores. En español, en inglés. Todos.
Muchísimas gracias, Richard. Y lo que yo he hecho en la comunidad no se compara para lo que tú hiciste para nosotros. Y te vamos a extrañar muchísimo, tanto a ti como a tu staff, porque hemos trabajado por años juntos. Para mí es muy triste y muy duro saber que un concejal que tenemos por 20 y tantos años y ha ayudado tanto a nuestra comunidad se nos vaya. Lo único que deseo que el que venga siquiera se compare, aunque sea la cuarta parte de él. Y muchísimas gracias, Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Alatorre. Mrs. Chick? Got endorsed by the Daily News. I did.
Thank you, Mr. President. For the moment, I am a little bit taller, and I am our council member, Ms. Sikowski. So would Judith Hirschberg please come forward, because unfortunately, her good friend and former colleague and council member Browdy's office couldn't be here today. But this is a pleasure for me because I've known Judith for many years, and she is actually a 3rd Council District constituent, and very, very deserving to be recognized as one of this city's proud pioneer women. Judith's commitment to paving new roads in advancing the political status of women, combined with her tireless work on behalf of women and the community at large in an array of different social issues, makes her an outstanding person in so many fields. She's been deeply involved with women's issues, beginning with the local League of Women Voters in Swampscott, Massachusetts. And after finding her way west, luckily for us, she founded the San Fernando Valley chapter of the National Women's Political Caucus, which culminated in her organizing the 1998 National Women's Political Caucus California State Convention. She has dedicated her life to public service. She worked as the chief field deputy for Councilman Marvin Browdy and served her community in that capacity for 9 years of dedicated service. She also was involved and has been in the board of Penny Lane, a residential treatment facility for predominantly female emotionally disturbed and abused adolescents. And she has had that involvement for over 20 years. She has served on the School Advisory Council for the Van Nuys Community Adult School, on the board of the School-Based Health Clinics for LAUSD. She is on the board of the Jeopardy Foundation and also finds time to serve on the San Fernando Valley Family and Community Advisory Commission. And recently, those of us who know her well know that she, in a sense, pioneered in a very different way, and one that she never expected to. Because just a handful of months ago, Judith underwent surgery for a brain tumor and served as an inspiration to all that knew her, how she kept her spirits, her energy, and her giving going through all of that. And so, for that reason, for that kind of strength, and for all of the other things that I listed, and some I'm sure I left off, I want to take this opportunity on the behalf of Councilmember Ms. Sikowski and the entire City of Los Angeles and City Council, Judith, to present you with the 1999 Pioneer Women Award and ask you to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I think probably we want her husband, Arthur, who has the most kind and loving smile in the entire world, to come up and join us. Judith.
Thank you. I feel I'm one of the privileged few. I did go through brain surgery, as did Elizabeth Taylor, along with me, except that her hair came in platinum blonde and mine hasn't. So what can I say? I have to tell you, Laura, that you and the women on the City Council are my heroes. I think you are wonderful. I know how difficult it is for women to run for office because I've sort of been in the background as a volunteer in so many campaigns. And it pleases me very much that we have 5 of you wonderful women here now. And I'm looking forward to the millennium when we'll have at least half. We should. I have to tell you, I couldn't have done it without the support and help of Arthur, who's always been there for me. I also want to say that I'm privileged. I didn't have to struggle through life. My parents did the struggling when they came to this country. And I always felt that it was my privilege to give back for everything that they gained here. And you get a lot of love and support and happiness by volunteering. And it also prepares you for anything that can happen to you in life. It really does. So thank you for this great honor. Thank you. I'm delighted. Thank you for standing in for Cindy. I love you for it. And thank you, Arthur. Thank you.
Let's do a quick picture. And now, very much last but not least for me, Sharon Schuster, if you would come and join me. Sharon is the Pioneer Woman Award recipient for the 3rd Council District, and most of you here know this outstanding woman. She has been involved with the City of Los Angeles in so many ways, in an official and professional way, and also in a less official and volunteer way. But most recently, colleagues, she is a member, as most of you know, of our City Civil Service Commission, a very hardworking and often not easy job to perform. She has been a member, my representative on the appointed City Charter Commission, and has done the most outstanding job. I have nothing but respect for her work in that capacity. And let me rattle off some of the other things. Many of you knew her during the many years that she served as the Chief of Staff for my predecessor, Councilmember Joy Pikus. She also has been the president and one of the founding members and movers and shakers, along with her husband, Shel Schuster, of the Friends of Platt Library, one of the city's newest and most used libraries out in the West San Fernando Valley. She's been active with our youth through her role in the San Fernando Valley Girl Scout Council. She serves on the Community Advisory Board for Cal State Northridge. And for 4 years, she served as the president of the American Association of University Women, a national organization of 135,000 college graduates dedicated to promoting equity and in education in particular for women and girls. And the list goes on and on. I've just come up with a wonderful new idea for Sharon that she and I will keep secret for a while. But colleagues, this is a woman who has worked in so many fields to make the communities of the West San Fernando Valley and the entire city better places to work and live and in which to get educated. I want to use this occasion to say thank you for all of those things, Sharon, to ask Shel to come and join us and to turn the microphone, and your daughters who are carrying on the great tradition. One daughter. And as I present you with the certificate and ask you to say a few words, I say a heartfelt congratulations and thanks. Come on up here, guys.
Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to the Commission and the Council for honoring community activists, because I do believe that much of what happens in the city is because of the many, many community activists, many of whom are women, who are active in the city and make it work. And not just the city, but of course throughout the country. And I'm just very pleased and privileged and honored to be part of the women that you are honoring today. I thank you very much.
Thanks. Come on over here. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ms. Chick. Mr. Fuhrer, we're going to have to interrupt this. Council President Ferraro would like to make at this time a very special presentation. Someone has to leave, and the Chair would like to recognize Council President Ferraro.
Mr. President, members of the council, I apologize for interrupting the Pioneer Women, but we were honored to have Supervisor Zev Yaroslawski here today, and he tells me how hard the supervisors work, so we want to get him back to work. Come on up here, Zev. You know what can we say about Keith Comrie? He's leaving us after more than 35 years of dedicated public service. He provided able service to both the city and the county in many capacities. A man of integrity and honesty, he provided the mayor, the city council, and the public with straightforward accounting of city finances. As this resolution states, Keith Comrie played a leading role in many major projects during his tenure. That included the Convention Center, the renovated Central Library, Staples Center, Arena, and $1 billion in capital improvement projects, libraries, fire, police facilities, sewer systems, reconstruction, and the zoo. Over the years, Keith has made a recommendation to the mayor and the council that helped our city maintain its sound financial conditions and one of the highest municipal bond ratings in the nation. He is an honest numbers broker and who served the city well, and we will miss him. The city council expresses its appreciation for Keith Comrie's 35 years of dedicated service to the people of the city of Los Angeles, and wish Keith and his wife, Sandra McNutt Comrie, a happy and productive retirement. And we have this resolution, but before we present this, let me ask Mr. Yaroslawski, Supervisor Yaroslawski, for some remarks.
Thank you, John. I will be very brief, but I did want to be here because in the 19 and a half years I served on this council, and in the 11-plus years that I served as chair of the Finance Committee, there were two people with whom I worked extremely closely, Keith Comrie and I forgot the other guy's name from Orange County. Was it Deaton?
It's called a troika.
Troika, yeah. That was the real troika. But there's no person who is more critical to the development of the budget, and certainly when I was here, than Keith. And I've always valued the input and the imprint that he left on the budget. And the great thing about Keith was, number one, he was impeccably honest. He is impeccably honest. Had tremendous integrity. Number two, he was a bean counter, but a bean counter with a heart. He was head of, I don't know how many of you know this, he headed the welfare department in the county of Los Angeles for several years before he came over here to the city. And I have to believe that having worked in that field and then having come over here, that the combination of being tough on numbers but also having the compassion to know what the dollars can be used for went a long way to making this the kind of city that it is. And you don't get that from all CAOs. So Keith, the county family wants to present you with this plaque in honor of your years of service, both as a county employee and a city employee, and to present this with you to you on the occasion of your retirement. And really wish you and your family a great deal of happiness in whatever you do. Thanks.
Yes, Ms. President, Ms. Chick and Mr. Fuhrer have a special presentation to make.
Yeah, let me call on Julie Butcher. She wanted to say something. Well, Julie, where are you? Why don't you go ahead?
Ms. Chick and Mr. Fuhrer have a presentation to make.
This is award day for Mr. Comrie. So when his picture's finished, we'll carry on. Okay, Mr. Comrie, one more to go. And this is a very special one, colleagues, because Keith is not only being given the first annual award of merit for excellence in emergency management, but hereafter, this award will be known as the Keith Comrie Award. Come on over here. I want him to take it because it's heavy. But I've admired Keith and enjoyed working with him in so many ways, but didn't know the full history of this, that since 1980, when he was first asked to serve as the vice chair of the city's first emergency operations organization, and he is the only surviving original member, although I don't think that means alive. It means still on the board and still serving as its vice chair, and has really led the city's emergency operations to a very finely tuned organization, and through 10 major emergencies, each of which I believe were declared national emergencies by the president. So congratulations and thank you, and I would like to let my colleague say a few words who's worked with you in this capacity as well.
Thank you, Ms. Chick. I too will say a lot of nice things about you, but I talk so fast it'll take a very short time. Bet you come a little closer for a second. You know, no, I want to say, you know, Keith is going to get a lot of accolades today, and it's interesting. Usually, those kinds of accolades are reserved for moments like this, the culmination of one's career in a given place. But I think, Keith, you have had the opportunity to have so many of us in the city family frequently tell you how much we respect your work. And it isn't just today. Tell you all the time that if it weren't for leadership that emanated principally from the CIO's office and from you, we wouldn't have revamped the manner in which we oversee our bond-funded capital projects here so that we can look forward to the passage of measures like our public safety facilities bond measure. That the advice and counsel you've given us, me as a Budget and Finance Committee member, but also all of us on the council, has been so deeply respected because you tell it like it is and speak with the authority of someone who knows what he's talking about. It is really a shame that you're leaving, because we will miss you, and you are very, very difficult for us to replace. And I just want to take this moment to say, for your leadership on emergency services, for your leadership on bond measures, for your leadership in fashioning the city's budget, and for always being there to give us intelligent, thoughtful, and honest information, we are in deep gratitude. Congratulations, Keith.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Walters.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to add a few words to the words of others for Keith Comrie. I certainly shall miss him. I have enjoyed working with you, Keith. I've enjoyed your straightforwardness, and I knew that when a budget was brought forward, when you were doing the budget, that we could depend on the numbers. And you will surely, surely be missed. And again, Phyllis commended you for the things that she had learned from you through the years that she had worked with you, and I would certainly add my commendation to that and my best wishes to your family as you move forward into another phase.
Chair recognizes Mr. Alatorre.
Mr. President and members, I met Keith before I was elected to the City Council when he was the director of the Department of, I guess it was the Department of Welfare at that time, but of Social Services now. Let me tell you, I mean, Keith Comrie is a man of integrity. He's certainly is a man of his word, a person that you can rely on whenever a question is raised about numbers, a question is raised about a particular project that has a bearing on the budget. You know, there are very few public servants that can tell you how to do something. Normally, they can tell you how not to do something. Now, Keith Comrie is one, when you pose a question to him, how can you get, this is what I want to do, how would you get it done? He will find a way of getting it done. And extremely, very creative when it comes to financing, and very creative when it comes to finding solutions to problems. He is a true problem solver. I don't think that, you know, his expertise, you know, certainly last year or so, when we needed it, especially on the budget, was taxed in the way that he was taxed in the years before. But, you know, whenever there was a problem, the Staples Arena, anytime there was a negotiation that was needed to accomplish something, you could always rely on Keith Comrie to get the job done. I wish you the best of luck, Keith. Wish you the best of luck with your beautiful Porsche, which I envy. One of these days, when I grow up, maybe I can have a Porsche just like you. Keith, best of luck.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Goldberg.
You got the Cherokee.
Well, Keith, I have not looked forward to this day. I know you have, but I haven't. I have relied upon you, as has my staff, for good counsel, for advice, for direction, and often just to understand the massive complications of the budgetary system of this wonderful city. I have relied upon you for honesty in saying that, well, I don't think that's a good idea. A lot of people don't say that to council members. It's really valuable to have somebody say right to you, I don't think that's a good idea. And I've appreciated that probably more than anything else. I've also appreciated working with you with the personnel matters that we have in EERC and in negotiations, and in knowing that your incredible institutional history lets us not stray very far from good practices, but also gives us an opportunity to try something new, which is a very, very delicate balance. And I appreciate your guidance in doing that. Even when we disagreed, I appreciate your guidance in doing that. Because I always knew that I was getting answers from you that you believed in, and that you believed were the best for the city of Los Angeles. It is a tremendous loss to see you leave. I am very, very sorry to see you go. I wish you nonetheless the very healthiest and happiest of retirements with your family.
Chair recognizes Councilman Hernandez.
You know, Keith, I wanted to rise. I see some hesitancy for you to take pictures with some of my colleagues. You're kind of standing away from them, even though it might be the council president. At the same time, I wanted to express my words of respect. I think what you're hearing from my colleagues is a tremendous amount of respect for you, the person, the individual we've had an opportunity to work with. I remember our first meeting, you were explaining to me the capital improvement projects in my district, and I kept on pointing out to you that those were not in my district. They were in the old first councilmatic district, Howard Finn side, and I kept on saying, where are the ones that are actually in my district? And I was asking different kinds of questions because the district was created by the courts, and the reality is you started explaining to me how to get projects into the capital improvements process. And I thought that was tremendously important, and it's making a tremendous difference in our district. I also wanted to share with you that I also appreciated your candor and your honesty in making sure I understood what could be done and what could not be done. Again, as Councilmember Goldberg said, we don't hear a lot of that in these halls. And I also appreciate your courage in trying to run a city of basically 3.5 million people and the demands of our budget and the demands of our constituencies. A lot of people don't understand the title Chief Administrative Officer, but your staff have done a tremendous amount of work with my office, and I think that that's partly because of your leadership, and they, whatever you did, basically came through in their actions and in their work. And so I also wanted to stand with some tremendous respect for you. I have a hard time envisioning this city without your leadership. without your objectivity, and without the style that you exhibited, a style that was very honest and open and straightforward, and we need to make sure we continue that kind of style. Thank you again for your work for the City of Los Angeles.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Chair recognizes Councilman Ridley Thomas.
Mr. President, members of the council, much of the significance of the City of Los Angeles' initiative and its good standing in the financial arena is appropriately attributed to the skill and bearing of Keith Comrie. We applaud you for that. But I rise to comment on his not being simply a top-flight manager, but in fact an enlightened manager of human resources as well as fiscal matters. Beyond that, I would wish to say that Keith has shown a considerable degree of creativity, ingenuity, and temerity in the face of adversity. And we've seen examples of that which cause our esteem only to be heightened. We think very highly of you, Keith, and if the truth be known, Mr. President, you made a lot of the work that we've done in terms of bringing significance to our city by way of a range of very, very important projects, not the least of which is the sports agenda that helps make communities significant, the arts agenda that do likewise, the entertainment agenda. All of these things are important. Keith Comrie understood those things and still understands those and contributes from a professional and voluntary vantage point through those efforts. We wouldn't be where we are as a city and those who have helped carve out some of the important initiatives. And I know firsthand the work, the grinding work that Keith Comrie and his staff did in the initial efforts to return the NFL to this city. It would not have happened were it not for his exemplary commitment and long hours. And so we rise to publicly acknowledge that and much more that we can report on with a great degree of thanks on behalf of a very, very grateful city. God bless you, Keith.
Chair recognizes Councilman Galanter.
I have good news. I don't want to make a speech. I really stood up just to wish you the best, the happiest, and the healthiest, and most fun retirement you can possibly have. Thank you for your help. Have a great time.
I wanted to, as the last councilman, just briefly touch upon what Councilman Ridley Thomas spoke about. It's not just enough to have knowledge and not just enough to be a professional in carrying out this kind of a job. You need, as Mr. Ridley Thomas said, to be an enlightened person to know how to use that knowledge and how to apply it. I think I've seen Keith and Sandy at every art opening at MoCA, at LACMA. I've seen them at events around this city that are the kind of humanizing, inspiring events that I think help create that kind of a background in a person that enables Keith to use his expertise in a way that has profoundly more meaning than it would be if he were just simply that numbers cruncher up there in that office. And I think it's important as we look for people to find this whole person that we have in someone like Keith. John?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Members, let me just point out that Keith has been the city administrative officer for 19 years, and he even had 1 year of interim manager of the CRA. But let me just point out some of the things that he has received. He's received significant awards such as the Best City Administrative Officer in America award that was from the City and State Magazine, the American Society of Public Administration Clarence Dystra Award for outstanding contributions to good government, 2 Government of Finance Officer awards from his contribution to the city budget, and the Good Government Efficiency Award from the Central City Association of Los Angeles, and the University of Southern California Fetcher Browern Award for Achievement of Urban Administration, as well as the USC Alumni Award of Merit. He's received so many. So let me just conclude by saying, now therefore it be resolved that the City Council of the City of Los Angeles, with the mayor concurring, commends Keith Comrie on the occasion of his retirement and expresses appreciation for his 35 years of dedicated service to the citizens of Los Angeles, and wishes Keith and his wife, Sandra McNutt Comrie, a most happy and productive retirement.
John, hang on. Hal just came in. He wanted to be here for this, and I want to give Hal a chance to speak. Councilman Burnson.
Well, Keith, I imagine with this council, you've probably heard everything that there is possible to say, but I just want to add a couple of words here to tell you what a pleasure it has been having you here with the city. For the years that I've been here, this is somebody that I could truly rely on, and was always there when we needed information, and besides a very close personal relationship. So, Keith, I want to wish you well. I wish you weren't gone. You're much too young, but I want to wish you and Sandy the best for the future. Thank you.
With all these nice remarks, Keith, you should have asked for a raise. Members of the council, ladies and gentlemen, Keith Comrie, would you introduce your family?
My staff suggested that I react like Roberto Benigni at the Academy Awards. I was afraid, though, I'd trip on the podium and fall down, so it's not quite my style. I thank you very seriously for your kind comments. I'm not sure I deserve them all. However, I had kidney stones once, and I didn't deserve them. First, of course, let me introduce my three most important people in my life. My wife, Sandy. My oldest daughter, Shannon, who's a senior at TCU, and the baby of the family, who's now the tallest member of our family, Colleen, who's going to the University of Arizona. Next, I'd like to ask all of the men and women from the CIO's office to stand just briefly, please. Words really can't adequately express my gratitude for all of their hard work over the last 35 years. Even during a short sabbatical to the county for about 10 years, I had touch and I worked with the staff on an ongoing basis on city-county projects. Nor can words adequately describe the quality of their technical skills, their concern for the city, and their ability to meet sometimes very critical deadlines in a very professional manner. We and the citizens of Los Angeles are extremely grateful for their service, and I can't speak too highly of it. I thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. Finally, some very brief comments from the fire chief, of course, the old out and the new in. From the perspective of some, and it's not just the years, John, it's the mileage frequently that counts. When I first came to Los Angeles, Orange County was predominantly orange groves. We would take a Sunday trip and park on the side of the road and sit under the orange trees. Now, we didn't pick any, of course, but they were unfenced. We've all seen dramatic growth. I've served 3 mayors, 51 council members, but perhaps more significant in putting those numbers in perspective would be just to look at one district, the 13th district. The council members in that district since I started with the city were James Harvey Brown, Paul Lamport, Robert Stevenson, Peggy Stevenson, Michael Wu, and of course Jackie Goldberg. Each and every member had only one approach to the city of Los Angeles: what's the best thing we can do for our cities? We've all talked long about the Pacific Century and our role in that. Well, it's here, and we're clearly a leader. I truly believe we'll be the capital city in the Pacific Century. And I see a wonderful future for our children and our grandchildren in this region and hope to participate in some way in that in the future. However, since I'm not running for elective office, I won't go any further into that other than to thank all of you for all of your efforts to date and all of your efforts in the future to make this the best city in the world. You have my best wishes. Thank you.
Who let Zev in?
He let himself in.
Huh? Who let Zev in?
Keith, Julie Butcher was here and wanted to say something nice. It might be the only time she ever did say anything nice about you, but I don't know where she is, but I just wanted to pass that on. Again, Cheryl. Oh, Cheryl wants to say something.
Julie asked me to say something on behalf of the city unions. As you're all aware, Mr. Comrie and the unions were not always in agreement and on the same side of issues. But I have to say, in those disagreements, he always treated the unions, potential adversaries, with great respect. And of course, because of that, we have tremendous respect for him. Most importantly, I think the vision that undergirded the tone that he set in labor relations in the city had to do with his underlying respect for the contribution that 40,000 city employees make every day to the greatness of this city and to the quality of the services that they provide every day. And I think that vision made labor relations in this city something to be very proud of. And we will miss Mr. Comrie very much. And on behalf of all of the unions and on behalf of 40,000 city employees, we want to thank you for your service.
That's a real tribute when the union leaders praise Keith, even though they did have some disagreements at times, but they always seem to work everything out. Keith, congratulations and best wishes for a good retirement.
Zev wants to be right here.
Charlotte? Here, take that, John.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Sure. Take pictures. Mr. President, members of the council, it's now my opportunity to present my Pioneer Woman of the Year from the 4th District, Charlotte DeMont.
That's true.
DeArmond. And let me just say that I'm very proud to introduce this extraordinary individual, the winner of the Pioneer Women Awards from the 4th District. Charlotte is a highly successful businesswoman. She has established an independent communications consulting business and is a specialist in public affairs, public education, public relations, and media relations. Also, her films and published writings have been given national reputation for competency and excellence. We honor Charlotte today specifically for her involvement and unselfish commitment to the betterment of her community. She's a true community leader, someone I have enjoyed working with on so many issues that concern our community. Currently, she serves as president of the Los Feliz Homeowners Association. I'm pleased to acknowledge her truly extraordinary record of service and dedication to making our city a better place to live and to work. She has made significant contributions, and I want to thank the Commission on the Status of Women for this opportunity to acknowledge the work of Charlotte and thank her for her service to the city. Charlotte?
Thank you, John. I think we are particularly fortunate today that the Pioneer Women can be in this group and hear all of the accomplishments. I know Keith Comrie. John set up a meeting for those of us from Las Vegas to talk with him when we were concerned about the water in Griffith Park. But what this meeting today with all of this signifies more than anything else is that citizens of Los Angeles, if they want to make the effort, can find a councilman open to talk with them about their concerns. Through that, councilman can reach the city departments that we need to have help from when there are concerns in the community. And I am so honored to be here with these 14 other women with their amazing accomplishments. Thanks for nominating me, John. Thanks to the commission for my award. And I would like to acknowledge my daughter, my son-in-law, my granddaughter, who flew down from Sacramento to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Chair recognizes Councilman Burnson for president.
Members of the council, I have the honor of presenting the Pioneer Woman of the Year award to Dr. Barbara Pampalona. Unfortunately, she could not be here today, but she sent her daughter Ingrid to represent her. So we're going to tell you a little bit about what Barbara does, which is just about everything in our community. She's been extremely active in our Chatsworth community as long as I go back, and that's a long time. Barbara Raymond Pampalona, DDS, FAGD, has practiced general dentistry in Chatsworth for more than 30 years since she founded Chatsworth Dental Group in 1967. Her personal practice activities focus primarily on crown and bridge removable prosthetics and implant prosthesis. As a member of the San Fernando Valley Dental Society, the California Dental Association, and the American Dental Association, Dr. Pampalona is also a fellow in the Academy of General Dentistry, as well as an active member of the Academy of, I got to read this carefully, Osseointegration. Is that correct? Anything over 3 syllables is hard for me. Dr. Pampalona began her practice shortly after earning her dental degree from the University of Southern California. She holds a bachelor's degree from Hunter College of the City of New York. A longtime advocate of community causes in Chatsworth and surrounding areas, Dr. Pampalona is a member of the Board of Directors and participating dentists for Meet Each Need with Dignity, or MEND as it's called, the San Fernando Valley's largest and most comprehensive poverty agency, which provides, among other services, dental care to people in need. Dr. Pampalona has worked with Men's Dental Volunteers for 8 years, serving as the program's dental director during part of that time. In addition, for the past 2 years, Dr. Pampalona has been an honorary Rotarian, has helped the San Fernando Valley Northeast Rotarian Club District 5260 collect used dental equipment to send to Children's Hospital in Guatemala. Dr. Pampalona is also very active, and this should not be taken as last because it's very extremely important and a lot of good work is done in our community, with the Chatsworth Community Coordinating Council, for which she has served as president 3 times and currently serves as recording secretary. She is a membership chair of the Friends of the Chatsworth Library, a member of the Chatsworth Chamber of Commerce, Chatsworth Women Club, and the Santa Susana Mountain Park Conservancy. Dr. Pampalona and her husband of 40 years, Joseph, have 3 daughters, 1 son, and 2 grandchildren, and one of the daughters is Ingrid, who's here today to receive this for her mother, and while we wish she could have been here, we want you to have this and present this to her and tell her how grateful we are for the work she's done for our community, okay? Thank you very much. Okay? Get a picture? You want to get back or no? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Burnson. Mr. Fuhrer?
Thank you very much, Mr. President. It is my privilege to introduce to the City Council for the special recognition of being the Pioneer Women of the Year in the 5th Council District, Susan Bursk. You know, we just debated this week my colleague Mr. Ridley Thomas's motion to jumpstart neighborhood councils around the city of Los Angeles. Susan Bursk is a genuine pioneer in the neighborhood council's effort. She presides over the South Robertson Neighborhoods Council. And Susan and I will recall the initial organizing meeting for that Neighborhoods Council at which 8 of us were present at Canfield Elementary School. Today, under Susan's leadership, hundreds of residents and business owners and commercial property owners regularly come to these meetings. Under Susan's leadership, in just 2 short years, the Neighborhoods Council has focused on quality of life issues, and Susan, a resident, has led them to focus on revitalizing the commercial area there. So what's happened? Trees are planted up and down the street. There's a new merchants association because of the Neighborhoods Council that Susan organized. New security patrols. There has been a festival created that brings together people across Robertson, which has been an historic divide between neighborhoods. She has led them to come together for a new special festival. And other efforts are underway because Susan takes the time and energy to make it happen. And one small facet of this that I don't want to overlook, in the course of forging this Neighborhoods Council there, Susan has made a concerted effort to incorporate the kids, the students from Hamilton High School there, who are now included among the officers of this organization. Susan is a leader in so many ways. She presides over the Castle Heights Neighborhood Association. She was the first president as an active member of the volunteer surveillance team for the West LA Division of the Police Department. She's a founder of People Against Crime. She's a former entrepreneur and president as well, and board member of the Southern California chapter of the Institute of Business Designers. And she comes from a long line of pioneer women here in Los Angeles. Her grandmother was a successful business owner here in Los Angeles. And her mother, Gertrude, who is here with us today, I believe, correct? Can she come forward? Where's she? Come on, Mom. And here is Susan's mother, Gertrude, and we have a sense of the continuity in this family of pioneers. Colleagues, Susan Bursk is a genuine pioneer woman here in the city of Los Angeles, whose life thus far has been of enormous benefit to so many and will continue to be a strong example of what women in this city, all of us in this city, can be. Susan, congratulations, and Gertrude, congratulations as well. I know that.
Yes. I always want to say a word. You can never keep me speechless. Thank you, Mom. First, I'd like to thank the Los Angeles Commission on the Status of Women for this really wonderful honor. And I especially want to thank Councilman Fuhr for creating so many opportunities for us in the community. Helen Keller once said, "We can do anything if we stick with it long enough." That was a true pioneer spirit of a woman. And I believe that with everything the South Robertson Neighborhoods Council is doing, all the people that I work with, we're trying so hard to make changes, and I see them happening. But I am really just an extension of them. I stand here, I know I'm being honored, but it really is a lot of their efforts and their energies and spirit that really help me to move forward. And I know some of them are here today, and I would very much appreciate if they could stand from the South Robertson Neighborhoods Council. I know you're out there, stand. And the Castle Heights Neighborhood Association, Terry Delvoye, Carol Siegel, Malcolm Brown, Susan Yates, Harold Fisher. Thank you all so much. I accept this. We all accept this. This is something that we should all share together. And I want to say to my mom, who is a true pioneer woman, and to my husband Alan and my son Hayden and my brother Gary and Barbara and everyone that's here, thank you so much for your continued support, and I look forward to doing more things together. Thank you.
Thanks, Susan. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Mr. Fuhr. Ms. Galanter.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's my honor today to recognize a woman you have met before. We've seen her several times here. Last time she gave us a lecture, which unfortunately we deserved. Marianne Jones, who is this year's Pioneer Woman for Council District 6, is currently the Executive Director of the West Side Center for Independent Living, an organization that's been in my district longer than I have. She's been the Executive Director for 2.5 years, and this is really quite a wonderful organization, and Marianne is an inspiration to all of the people who work there and the people who are served by the organization. The organization's whole staff is made up primarily of persons who have disabilities and some seniors who are not disabled, but they're all dedicated to showing people who have disabilities and helping people who have disabilities that a disability is just a nuisance that gets in the way, but it is not something, most of the time, that should prevent you from having a productive and happy and healthy life. Marianne became a wheelchair user at the age of 23 as the result of an accident, as happens to so many of the people we see today. People have skiing accidents, they have falls, car accidents, they have violent accidents. At the time, she was working to help put her husband through school, and she was the mother of a 2-year-old. Suddenly, she finds herself with spinal paralysis, and there she is in a wheelchair. Well, she went through a period of adjustment, as one does. The kid grew up. Marianne decided to, we'll talk about the kid in a minute. The kid made it past 2, I'm happy to tell you. She then finished, she went through this adjustment, she went back to college, finished college and graduated in 1981, went right to work, and she's been working ever since. So her background, hold on, there's more. Hang on. We are very proud, but hang on, and so is she, as you should be. Her background now includes more than 20 years of experience as both a volunteer and employee for several nonprofit organizations. She worked for the Sister Kenny Institute in Minneapolis, the Schwab Rehab Center, and the National Easter Seal Society in Chicago, and locally at the Foundation on Employment and Disability before she took over at the West Side Center for Independent Living. She continues, in addition to her work and her family, she continues with volunteer activities. She serves on the board of United Way, on the board of Access Living in Chicago, and she's also a governor and mayoral appointee to several state and city disability advisory groups. And I'm going to let her tell you why she thinks she's been so successful. I think she's been so successful because she cares, she works hard, she doesn't let the wheelchair get in her way, and she's my volunteer tester for the Venice Pier, which does work. You told me it works. Marianne Jones.
Thank you, Ruth. When you say awards ceremony in Los Angeles, you can't help but think about the Academy Awards. And since I'm a firm believer in using good role models to accomplish tasks, I went through my memories of the recent awards to find something that I could see that would be appropriate today. So quickly, because they all have to do it quickly, I'd just like to thank Ruth, my, in this case, producer, without whose backing, without whose backing I certainly wouldn't be here today. And I want to say that this is a group of women whose accomplishments and activities I greatly admire, and it's an honor to be in this company today. It really is. Certainly, I'd like to thank my family and one of the biggest supporters I have, my husband, and that's not just because he's 6'8". I want to take a moment to thank my cast and crew, the people that I work with on a daily basis at the West Side Center for Independent Living, who provide information and referral, advocacy, education, and a host of other services to people who are working through some aspect of the disability experience. When I became disabled so many years ago, there weren't any independent living centers, and so I really do think it's a privilege to be able to direct an agency that's my dream agency. One place where you can go and get all the services you need. Phone number 310-390-3611. Thank you very much.
Thank you for the promotion. go in the back?
Thank you, Ms. Kalender. Ms. Goldberg?
Joan? Mr. President, members of the council, it's with a great deal of pride that I introduced to all of you Mildred Kramer, the CD13 Pioneer Woman of the Year. Mildred Kramer is an inspiration just in the way she has lived her life and the things that she's accomplished and the places she's been, the events that she has been through. But she is, there are really too many things in her, I think about 90 years, I shouldn't say that all, but I think it's about that, soon 91 years, to talk about Mildred. She was born in the South. She became, in my opinion, an inspiration in her work during the Roosevelt years, in which she was very instrumental in the beginning of, nationally, of the organization that's known today as AFSCME, and in getting that started on a firm footing and seeing that there were so many employees of state and county and local government that really had no representation and fewer rights. She was very instrumental in seeing that that organization took off and was founded in a very firm and important manner. And of course, Cheryl Parisi, who's the local representative here today, I just had a chance to introduce her to Mildred so that she could see the pioneer woman that made that organization possible. Mildred, because of the incredible number of things that she did and places that she lived and things that have happened to her over the years, really was not able to get a lot of formal education until much later in her life. You were how old when you finished college? 69. 69 when she got her bachelor's degree. And she decided that, you know, it was just time. She knew all this stuff, but she had never actually completed the formal education. It was time, and she did it. Is that when you wrote that wonderful paper that I read? She wrote a paper that I will tell you, I think personally, if I had some extra time, I would spend some time getting it published. Because the paper was on the role of whites in the South in anti-slavery. And to try to dispel the myth that all Southern whites were pro-slavery. And she did some original research that I think anybody would be proud of, and she did a heck of a job. And I had the great privilege of being able to read it. Prior to my service on the school board, Mildred also worked through the ranks in the school district and was a administrative assistant to board members for many years in LA Unified, where I understand from everybody I talked to, she was an extraordinary help to the board members for whom she worked. And just in every way, in raising her daughter and her granddaughter who are here with us, and I'm sorry? And grandson, excuse me, I didn't, and two daughters and three grandchildren. 2 daughters and 3 grandchildren, in raising them, in connecting with her community, in connecting with the world of education, in connecting with the world of labor. This remarkable woman has led a life that has inspired me and many, many, many people with whom she's come into contact, and now through the media, she will inspire others. And the only thing she said to me as we talked about her doing this was, "I don't deserve it." Can you believe it? This is a person who just kept saying to me, no, 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 I can't accept, because what have I done? Well, I think you will join me in saying that she has lived a life that has been committed to ongoing education to her fellow woman and man, and she has done things which have inspired a great many of us to greater and greater heights. So Mildred G. Kramer, it is with a great deal of pleasure and humility that we honor you as the CD13 Pioneer Woman of the Year.
It means a great deal to me to discover that there are those who think that my life is worthy of being a model. It gives me a lovely feeling, and I thank you all.
Thank you, Ms. Goldberg. Chair recognizes Mr. Hernandez.
Do it for the community.
Mr. President, members of the council, it's my honor today to recognize the Pioneer Woman of the Year for Council District 1. But I also wanted to say, I was reflecting on some of the words Ms. Walters stated at the beginning of her presentation, and it's because the honoree that's before me I know to be, one, a mother, as well as a wife, as well as someone who manages a business, a family-owned business. And it's as the manager of the business that she got involved with the community where they work, and that's Westlake Plumbing and Hardware. And I attended a meeting one night in the second level of that business where they brought a lot of community people, and they were talking about dealing with crime. And Bertha Woolridge has basically been the leader of that movement in the Westlake community to deal with crime. She's been a guiding force of the Westlake Protectors. Her and her husband, Bob, have basically contributed not only the space in the building, but their time on an ongoing basis. They use their office building as part of their business as part of the community meeting location. Many of you have heard about the Westlake Protectors, whether it was the first time someone saw a community cleanup being conducted at night on Alvarado Street, and it was being done by the Westlake Protectors and shown by the media. You also need to know that the community participated in Operation Sparkle, as well as National Earth Day, and conducts block parties, monthly cleanups, and they basically assess the nuisance in the neighborhoods. They worked very hard to close a rock house, basically by 8th Street. And that particular location, we ended up demolishing the building, and right now it's a vacant lot that's known as Hope and Peace Park. And we're working with the California Assembly right now with Assemblyman Gil Cedillos to try and purchase another lot next to it to actually convert it to a park for the community. This is a location where the neighborhood children gather, and they have barbecues and family gatherings in the middle of all these tenement buildings, where basically, because of the nuisance abatement teams and so forth, a tremendous amount of work. Bertha also has been instrumental in the LAPD's Rampart Division, serving as a member of the Community Police Advisory Board and the Community Emergency Response Team. You know, for me, members of the council, it's an honor to be able to recognize someone who basically was working in a community, decided that it was time that something happened, and organized that community to deal with some of the bad elements of the community, and on an ongoing basis has consistently been there to lead and be part of that community. It's provided a tremendous amount of hope in an area that, quite frankly, had no hope. What you need to understand, whether it was an opening of a new business, if it's the transfers of the lead officers serving the area, if it's dealing with some of the social service needs of the community, Bertha Woolridge is always calling me. And what I think is unusual is this is not where she lives. This is where she works, but she treats it as her neighborhood. And so I wanted to recognize Bertha today as our Pioneer Woman of the Year for her activities in the City of Angels of providing a lot of hope to other Angelinos and making it happen. So again, the Pioneer Woman of the Year for the 1st Councilmanic District, Ms. Bertha Woolridge.
Oh, yeah, I will. You want to take a picture first?
Okay.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here. and serve my community. But you say enough but me, Mike. And I think the person to be thanked as our council member in our area. We did have a lot of problems, but we are better in our situation at our living in our area. I want to thank Mike for our youth centers, our schools, our new programs coming into the area, our community as for giving us a better community, safe and better way to live. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez.
Constituents like that sure make life a lot easier as an elected official, Mr. President. The second person I have the honor of presenting, and I'm here acting on behalf of the 7th Councilmatic District. Currently, there's an election to fill that position, and there's a very special woman who we all get to honor, and I think most of us have had a chance to see her at work because of some of the activist programs she's been doing in dealing with the issue of domestic violence in the city of Los Angeles. And I'd like to call up Corina Alarcon, please. Oh, she's right behind me. Good. She's a native of San Fernando Valley. Corina Alarcon is a respected community leader, business professional, community advocate, volunteer. She recently received her 20-year of service pin from Allstate Insurance and is one of the few women agents in the San Fernando Valley. She's a diligent advocate. She was appointed by Assembly Speaker Cruz Bustamante to serve on the State Domestic Violence Advisory Council, and Mayor Richard Reardon's appointed to the City Domestic Violence Task Force. And you need to understand she's followed through to her commitment in the San Fernando Valley as the founder and president of a board called WAVE, and many of us have heard of WAVE's recent success in securing funding for some domestic violence shelter housing. This is an organization that's devoted to economic, social, professional, educational condition of women. WAVE is operating a 38-unit transitional shelter for battered women, the largest transitional home in the city of Los Angeles. Corina's distinguished record of service to her community far exceeds our ability to recite even the high spots in the time that's permitted today. Suffice it to say that Corina Alarcon, through her unselfish commitment and involvement, has made significant contributions to the strength and character of our city. I remember going to a presentation by Vice President Al Gore at the time where a lot of parents at an elementary school were talking about Corina Alarcon as someone who'd help them in terms of them organizing and getting a voice in government. And again, I want to thank her on behalf of a lot of the constituents, but the constituents of the 7th Councilmatic District and the staff of the 7th Councilmatic District that basically selected through their process Corina Alarcon as a Pioneer Woman of the Year for the 7th Councilmatic District.
Sure. Okay. Thank you very much. This is truly an honor, actually for two reasons. One being that I feel so privileged to be amongst this wonderful, outstanding, distinguished group of women. And secondly, because in my instance, as Mike had mentioned, the field staff was given the task of selecting their Pioneer Woman of the year, and knowing that, I feel very humbled and very, very grateful to my community. I'd like to thank the City Council, a very sincere thank you to City Council, and a very special thank you to the Commission on the Status of Women for their ongoing support of women's issues. And I do a lot of work in domestic violence, and I really want to accept this certificate and recognition on behalf of all victims of domestic violence, for they are truly the Pioneer Women. Thank you.
One last comment. I just want to introduce my mom. Mom, you wave. She's been wonderfully supportive, especially the last couple of months. And my best friend, Laura Fryer.
Thank you. Thank you, Karina. Mr., I know you have one more. John, how you doing?
Okay. The last presentation, Mr. President, and again, it's my honor to make this presentation on behalf of Councilmember Nate Holden for the honoree of Pioneer Women of the Year for the Council District Number 10. And of Maxine McGinnis, is she behind me? How you doing, Maxine? She has devoted over 30 years to the concept of helping youngsters. She was honored by former Mayor Tom Bradley and the Board of Supervisors for her work as Administrative Director of the Much Heralded Jacqueline House for Girls. Mrs. McGinnis pioneered several programs for the group of homes in Southern California under the auspices of the Los Angeles County Probation Office. And you need to know there was a letter in the file of recognition by the Department of Probation for her work, and thanking Mr. Holden for selecting her. Ms. McGinnis has more recently founded and served as Administrative Director to the Band-Aids Care Center and has diligently worked with the Baldwin Hills Neighborhood Homeowners Association for a number of years. When she serves as a director, she's also the community communications person on behalf of the Board of Directors. And so we wanted to recognize Maxine L. McGinnis for her work with the young people of our city, particularly the young girls of our city, and for displaying, being a role model for them and straightening our community, making our city a better place in which to live in. Again, thank you very much, Ms. McGinnis.
I would like to thank my Councilman Holden, who came by my house to say that he couldn't be here today. I want to thank the City Council and also the Commission on the Status of Women for this great honor. I'm very grateful and happy. I have here two of my neighbors and my daughter. My other daughter is the photographer, Phyllis McNeil. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Hernandez. Mr. Ridley Thomas, you're next on your Pioneer Woman. Joel and Rita. And we still have a couple presentations. We're going for the record today. Joel, we're going for the record today.
Mr. President, members of the council, on behalf of Councilman Rudy Savornich Jr., I would like to make this presentation of the Pioneer Woman Award for the 15th Council District to Ms. Camilla Townsend Kosel, who is the honorary mayor of San Pedro. Ms. Kosel, will you come forward, please? Trained as an educator of high standing, specializing in the area of adult education, which is an area in which some of the members of the council have taught. It's important to recognize this distinguished San Pedro leader for having initiated a number of important things in our city. Among them is the community campaign, the TLC for teens. The purpose involved here is raising awareness of issues affecting young people. These activities include a teen summit to start ongoing dialogue, to prioritize the kinds of things that are important in young people's lives, to generate funds and resources for the teens in the areas, in that area, and particularly the facilities that support them, and to create a teen advisory council to the Los Angeles Police Department, the Harbor Area Community Station. She served as coordinator of the annual Women in Community Leadership Tea and Forum and events involving over many hundreds of teens and matching them with mentors who are in many instances women. We have someone who serves as chairperson of the San Pedro Volunteer Center, and she was instrumental in establishing the designation of San Pedro as a community of promise. I take note of the fact that Camilla Townsend Kosol is a graduate of Immaculate Heart College, and as many of you know, I am as well, and that's a surprise that I wanted to share with you today. And so we had a reason to be connected after all. We join today in saluting you on behalf of the residents of the entirety of the 15th Council District. As the honorary mayor of San Pedro, your constituency has just expanded. And we take this opportunity to acknowledge your daughter Jackie and your son Christopher for being here as well, and we'd ask them to come forward if they'd be so inclined. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now introduce to you the representative of the 15th Council District who stands to receive this award as the Pioneer Woman, Ms. Camilla Townsend Kosol.
That was a wonderful surprise, Councilman, because it's due to my education at Immaculate Heart College and the influence that a wonderful education has had on me that I've been able to do the rest of all these other things that I've done with my life. I want to thank the council. I want to especially thank Councilman Rudy Savornich, who has been so supportive of all of the activities we've taken on in the community of San Pedro. I would like to thank the Commission on the Status of Women for this wonderful event. As we all know, and I think all of us who've received these awards know, it's not so much the person that's being honored, it's the work that's being done that draws attention to itself. And the work that I've been involved with for 35 years as an adult educator with the Los Angeles Unified School District was only made possible because of a lot of pioneer women like Jackie Goldberg and Rita Walters and Roberta Weintraub, who sat on the Board of Education when I would come forward with some of my wild ideas. Support of women like Lupe Reyes, the Director of Adult Education, who is here today, and who all of these people who have allowed me to be sort of out on the edge in beginning programs that we thought would best serve the adults of our community. We serve way over 150,000 adults each year in the city of Los Angeles, and I'm very grateful for that and to those people. Also to the wonderful community of San Pedro, all of those wonderful, wonderful volunteers who've worked with me on our campaign to work with teens and to really make the role of honorary mayor of San Pedro a working job that makes a difference in the community. And most of all, my youngest daughter, Jackie, who is an inspiration to me. She's a young woman who's been through a lot of hardship to achieve her goals, and I don't know what I'd do without her. So thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Immaculate Heart graduate. That was a wonderful surprise.
Mr. President, members of the council, it gives me a great amount of pleasure, you might say, an abundance of joy to introduce to some and present to others the pioneer woman of the 8th Council District, Ms. Edna Tatum. Ms. Tatum, would you please join me? Give her a hand, please. Known to many as The Voice, Ms. Tatum is one of this nation's renowned commentators in the arena of gospel music. host of many national gospel festivals, workshops, and events, including the Gospel Music Academies held at the Apollo Theater in New York, the Gospel Music Workshop of America, and the Chicago Gospel Festival, one of the largest outdoor gospel events attracting over 200,000 people each year. Ms. Tatum has narrated concerts for many of the top names in gospel music, the late Reverend James Cleveland, Kurt Carr, Albertina Walker, and many, many more. Her career also includes recording projects and hosting international events, and I can tell you it is without fear of contradiction. There is no person, no voice in radio broadcasting, particularly in the specialized area of gospel music, that surpasses that of Edna Tatum. With humble beginnings and from extending words of welcomes and reading the Sunday morning announcements in church and to introducing choirs and groups and soloists, I have to say to you that Ms. Tatum has distinguished herself in a rather extraordinary way, and it's with a great degree of humility, respect, and I must add a considerable amount of admiration that I present this certificate of commendation to Edna Tatum for being the 1999 Pioneer Woman on behalf of all of the residents of the 8th Council District in the city of Los Angeles. All right, Tatum. You all right, Tatum? You all right, Tatum? You got something for you, Tatum? You all right, Tatum? Yeah, say a word. Say nothing about Jesus in here.
Mr. President, and to the City Council, and particularly to the Commission on Status of Women, I am immeasurably delighted and honored and deeply grateful for this extraordinary distinction. Certainly, I speak for those of us who are in the 8th District, that we are one of the most luckiest people, we are the luckiest people in the world, because we have the leadership of one of the most celebrated councilmen in the world, none other than Councilman Thomas. And certainly we're looking forward to this continuation of this extension in the millennium. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ridley Thomas. Mr. Wax?
Okay, I'm here.
Mr. President, members of council, I am really pleased that these award ceremonies, recognition ceremonies are being presented on television, and hopefully will be replayed on Channel 35 for a number of times. It is, if you ever feel wondering about the future of a city or down on things, you sit here in a day like today and you just see this remarkable array of women who so inspire and so exude all of the positive attributes of good people in our city, making it better. That it may be a long program, but it is an inspiring program, and it is a significant program. And as I listened carefully to all of your presentations and all of the pioneer women that you honored, I almost was picking out from each one of your presentations an attribute of Louise Marquez, who I'm privileged to honor today. Because this is really a woman whose leadership, whose courage, whose amazing selfless devotion really are the perfect sum and substance of what a pioneer woman is. First, she is a businesswoman. Louise is the general manager of the Panorama City Mall, a mall that has been in a community that was going through some tough times, and yet even with the departure of the anchor, the Broadway, She has kept that mall 100% occupied, and now a Walmart has come in there. All of the stores are full. It is a vibrant, economically viable, vibrant center in our community, which serves and reflects the true diversity of the community that Panorama City has become. But it is more than just a business. Louise has opened that mall to virtually every single cause and every single event that takes place in the community. Any health fair, any senior event, any police community event, any community redevelopment event, any youth event, any event of any kind, Louise opens up the mall to make it a center, a hub of connecting the businesses and the community activities. 2 years ago, we started on a new library. Monday, we're going to dedicate that new library in Panorama City. But what do you do in the 2 years when you don't want to add on to a library, but you want to tear down the old one because it isn't any good and put a state-of-the-art in? You go to Louise, and of course, in the mall has been the library for the last couple of years while the new one opens up on Monday. She does this while, of course, she has raised 3 children. She has been a devoted mother. But I thought, as Ms. Chick was talking about Judith, 7 years ago, she's done all this. 7 years ago, Louise was diagnosed with ovarian cancer. She went into the hospital. Her prognosis was dim. She left the hospital and said, I don't have time to be sick. And all of the things that I've told you she's been doing since that time. Last October, she went in again. And this time it was lung cancer. And again, she said, I don't do sick. And here she is back in the community, as vibrant, as inspiring, as accomplishing, as remarkable a person as I've seen. She really is a person who more than single-handedly has kept Panorama City vibrant, turned it around, and given it a future and a hope that will be there for many, many people to benefit from. I am thrilled and honored to present Louise Marquez as the Pioneer Woman of the Year of the 2nd District.
Thank you. I'm actually very honored to be here among all of you. I look around this room and I know several of the city council representatives. The women that I'm with are awesome. But I just have a fun house. You know, I am very privileged to work for the Macerich Company, who owns 50 malls nationwide, and I'm the smallest but the mightiest of the mice. And so we have a lot of fun. If you're not doing anything tomorrow, come over to our Kids' Day, and you'll have fun too. Thank you very much, all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Wax. Mrs. Walters? Yeah. Yeah. Joel's another one that came to go to city. You know, he was president for a while. And you know, as a president, you get the budget. They waited and waited.
You know, I still have the building and safety ones when this is over.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thank you, council members. My awardee today is Mrs. Kenny Jones, and she's
going to die.
She's really a pioneer woman that I am pleased to award this certificate and nominate for this honor. Mr. Wax awardee was outstanding, and I like that she said, I don't do sick. Kenny doesn't do tired. She just keeps going. She just keeps rolling along. And I think that's one of the attributes of a pioneer woman. They don't wait for others to step out there. They're out there, they're doing it. They see a job that needs to be done, and they do it until it's done. They just don't stop. Our certificates today say that we are honoring the Los Angeles Commission on the Status of Women is honoring all of you for exemplary records of commitment and numerous significant contributions to the support, protection, and awareness of the valuable accomplishments of women in our society, and through this personal dedication, enriching and strengthening our community and making the city of Los Angeles a better place in which to live. Kenny Jones has certainly made South Central Los Angeles a better place in which to live. She operates a youth, well, I wanted to say a youth park, but it's not exactly a park. It's a youth center with many facets in South Central Los Angeles. She has been for 9 years executive director of the East 60th Street Community Youth Center. And this was a center that was founded by a block club, the East 60th Street Block Club, after the civil unrest of 1965. And that club has raised the money, along with the city's help, to keep this going until now. When Kenny took over 9 years ago, it wasn't flourishing as well as it had. And she's tripled the budget. She's got a building program going. She's got a yard-long list of volunteers who come and help her out. And she finds time for service and other things in the community. She's our 9th District Chair of our Community Redevelopment Community. She served on Newton Division's Community Police Advisory Board. She was named in 1977 as a living history maker by Turning Point magazine. In 1995, she graduated from the Los Angeles Community Police Academy. She has been an advocate and consultant on youth activities, assisting LAPD, the California Highway Patrol, and other state and federal agencies. And the Highway Patrol, through the just recently retired Deputy Commissioner Bill Kelly, organized for a number of years a toy giveaway for East 60th. And so they bring literally thousands of toys there to be given away to the community. And Kenny has the space devoted to that at Christmas time. She loves children. She loves young people, and she works with them from the age 5 up until their 20s. And she doesn't let go. She's a real advocate for the youth in our community. She has been invited and will soon fulfill that invitation to testify before the U.S. House of Representatives Subcommittee on Appropriations on funding of youth programs. And she's just, as I said before, an enormous bundle of energy. She never says no. You call Kenny and ask her, Kenny, can you do this? Can you accommodate this person or that person, or look into a problem? And it's always, yes, I will do my best. I don't know if it'll be successful, but I will do my best. And her best is always what is called for, because she's highly successful in all of the things that she does. And so to Mrs. Kenny Ruth Jones, it is a real honor for me to present this to you today. Okay. You want to say something?
I can't believe I'm actually speechless for a change. I get a chance to say what Edna Tatum didn't say, who's world-renowned for saying, "Praise God for whom all blessings flow." I certainly would like to begin by thanking my councilperson, who is indeed a pioneer woman. And I hope I'm able to accomplish a lot of things with youth that she has, because that's her passion as well as her compassion. I want to take time to thank the City Council. Every time you say "I" to a motion for young people, particularly from when my agency is concerned, you just cannot imagine how many lives you impact upon. I have a lot of females here today. I'm so proud to say that from Jefferson New Middle School, the leadership class, of which my granddaughter is a member, females on a day like this who just might be the other council women, based on the help and support that we get from City Council and other people and friends. I do thank all of you. I have a number of guests. I'd like them all to stand up, please. My guests, I must say, come from nearly every one of your council districts. In addition, they are from members of my church, Faithful Central, where Bishop Kenneth Ulmer is pastor. I have with me the retired Deputy Commissioner Bill Kelly from Sacramento, who flew down for this occasion. I have members of the Los Angeles Police Division, Newton Division, who's also a part of my guest. The founders and seniors of the East Community Improvement Club are here, unless they had to leave. Family, no, they're still here, Mrs. Talbot. And just so many, I wouldn't dare name names for fear that I might miss someone. But I just want to say thank you, because it is truly an honor. I want to thank the Los Angeles City Commission on the Status of Women for making this type of day possible. I guess I'm just so overwhelmed, and I love youth, and I just want to make one more comment. It is certainly a pleasure to be before City Council today without my fatigues on and my boots fighting for money. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Walters.
Mr. President, would you permit me one introduction?
No.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. President. May I take this opportunity to acknowledge a long-term activist and fighter in our city who heads the Senior Citizens Program in parts of our city, Ms. Lillian Mobley, and today is Ms. Mobley's birthday. Stand up, Ms. Mobley, so we can salute you on your birthday. Give her a hand, won't you, please? Lillian Mobley. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Did Paula Peretta or Veronica Hendricks want to close this portion?
Thank you, council members. I just want to thank all of you for bringing the 1999 Women Pioneers forth today. As we move into the millennium, we need to look back at these women and the women that came before them that have really paved a way for all of us and for the next generation to come. And I really want to congratulate the 1999 Women Pioneers. Thank you.
Thank you. Let me congratulate all of the pioneer women. We're honored to have you in our council chamber, and we're pleased to be able to recommend all you successful pioneers. Mr. Fuhr for a presentation.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm joined by Ann Smith, the General Manager of our city's Department of Aging. We're here today to commemorate Older Worker Week. Employ the Older Worker Week.
We're all older.
This is an opportunity for members of the council to actually seek employment in the post-term limited world. Employ the Older Worker Week was founded by the American Legion in 1959. It's celebrated every year in the month of March to recognize the values that older employees bring to our workforce. Throughout the country, employers recognize older workers whose meaningful contributions and achievements make the community better and afford us the opportunity to learn from them. Older workers obviously face many challenges in today's competitive workforce, but by the same token, they have a great deal to contribute. Because of time constraints, I'd like to first identify Homer Edwards and ask him to call for presentation. Joined by my... Okay, very good. I'm joined by our colleague, Ms. Galanter. Homer Edwards is Mr. Calligraphy in the city of Los Angeles. He is the leading city calligrapher, and he teaches and is a mentor for the Society of Calligraphy in Los Angeles. He shares his talents with many departments in the city. He designs layouts for graphic material for technical and administrative reports. He prepares scrolls, commendations, posters, and so much more. Everybody in the city is well acquainted with how beautiful the calligraphy is that emerges from City Hall. And we have Homer Edwards to thank for that. Congratulations. Very much. Next, it's my pleasure to recognize David Nave. Is David here? It has been a very long morning of presentations for some wonderful people, and we'll present this to him at another occasion. Is Marlene Greenfield here?
She's mine too. I'm representing the police department.
Oh, very good. We have Councilmember Galanter, also in her capacity as Deputy Chief Galanter, I think, today. Marlene Greenfield is the principal clerk for the police. She's a records manager. She has been serving our city for 48 years. She is the backbone of the Pacific Area Police Department Records Division. She helps organize that department's records and is an outstanding supervisor who oversees 10 employees. Marlene Greenfield, congratulations for your service. Please, by all means.
I really am standing in for the police department here. Marlene is a very valued employee at Pacific Division, and probably half the division would have been here, but we hope that they're out catching the West Side rapist even as we speak. We hope.
We hope. I want to thank you very much for this. I've seen a lot of changes in the City Council, a lot of changes in the Los Angeles Police Department. I go back quite a ways. I've spent, of the 48 years, I've spent 46 of them with the police department. I hope to be around a couple more years at least. I will have 50 next year. I want to say thank you very much, and I'm sorry some of my bosses can't be here, but if you've been watching the news this morning, they're all out there trying to catch that guy.
You know, Ms. Greenfield refers to her bosses, but I have a sense that they might think of you as the boss. Having said that, is Detective John O'Toole, yes, Detective John O'Toole here? Okay, another individual who we'll have a chance to recognize on another occasion. Ernie Bird, is Ernie Bird here? Hi. Thank you. Ernie Bird is the Director of Purchasing Services. He has been a city employee for 40 years. He developed the city's first minority business outreach program, as well as the department's Minority Business Enterprise, Women Business Enterprise program. He is the first African American assistant utility buyer and the first African American director of purchasing. And he has distinguished himself, among other things, by succeeding under great pressure for the important work that he does and for his contribution to the city. Congratulations, Ernie Bird.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.
Next, is Gerald Lee here? Okay. Is John Kaznetsis here? Congratulations.
Thank you.
John, but his friends call him Kaz Kaznetsis, has been a city employee for 22 and a half years. He's a very important employee in our community development department. He demands excellence from his staff, upholds stringent work habits, and has shown the willingness to adapt to new technologies which save the city money and make us all more efficient. Our friends in CDD say if you need something done, you got to give it to Kaz. Congratulations. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
Congratulations. Say a word? Okay.
Yes, thank you. I do want to thank the council. I specifically want to thank Ann here, who was one of my bosses at one time, and of course the Community Development Department. My wife is going to be very sad to find out that I'm old now, but we're going to live on. Thank you.
Thank you. Is Oseo Villegas here? Okay. We'll present these to these individuals on another occasion. In the meantime, Mr. President, thank you very much. Congratulations to all of you. Not old, just older, more experienced.
Thank you, Mr. Fuhrer. That seems to be an appropriate description for today. The chair recognizes Councilwoman Chick for a very special presentation.
Thank you for saying that, Joel, after all of this time, but these really are very special, and now they're very special presentations because they've waited so long today. But I'm going to start out with the presentation for an individual employee of the Building and Safety Department, and if the General Manager and Dr. Grace Harper would join me at the podium, please. And then I'm going to go on to a very special presentation for the Building and Safety Department as a whole. And I know I saw Mr. Adelman. Aha! He's been here so long that set up an office in the back.
Darn near.
Okay. Colleagues, this actually turned out to be perfect, even though I asked Grace Harper to wait a lot longer than I thought I was going to. Because this is Pioneer Women Moment, I have next to me a city employee who is very special, and let me tell you why. Grace Harper won a very, very big honor as Tradeswoman of the Year from an organization called Winter, Women in Non-Traditional Employment Roles. So let me illustrate why Dr. Grace Harper is so important. She began her career in the plumbing trade. In 1972, she was the first female to graduate from a union apprenticeship program in the state of California. She rose through the plumbing trade and through civil service and earned even a doctorate degree in public administration in 1997. Wow. She is a true trailblazer. She worked the construction sites in the 70s when she was the lone woman amongst hundreds of male colleagues. She is a woman to make us all proud. She's worked hard, she pressed ahead when the odds were against her, and she is determined to help encourage the city to make even better efforts in recruiting good women. Not today, but soon, with my colleague, Councilmember Goldberg, we will bring in a request for the Building and Safety Department and our Housing Department, which is also growing its inspection programs, to come and tell us about all your good efforts to recruit more women and to promote more good women. And we expect you, Dr. Harper, to be there in that committee meeting to help give us some good advice. In the meantime, on behalf of the City Council and with great pride about your role in Building and Safety Department, we say congratulations.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that Ebony Secure Akbar could not be here today. She was here earlier, but she had to leave. I'm going to try and make this brief because I know that the program has been long. But Winter is a community-based organization whose mission is to support and encourage women's training, employment, and retention, both in high-wage and high-skilled jobs. They are based in Long Beach and serve most of Southern California. Winter has worked with the U.S. Department of Labor, Women's Bureau, of which I am also affiliated, and with the Alameda Corridor, which is coming up, to access training and employment opportunities with both apprenticeships and other unions. Their focus is to dedicate women, specifically low-income women and women of color, into a non-traditional career option. In honoring me, they were able to demonstrate, and they are able to demonstrate, that there is equal access to opportunity for success and highlight jobs that can bring families from poverty to economic self-sufficiencies. I congratulate women in non-traditional employment roles. On behalf of myself, however, I think some thank yous are both in order and long overdue. Council members and your staff from the City of Los Angeles, tradeswomen from Winter, my family, friends, building and safety staff who are here today, both for me and for the department, for other city family members and the citizens of Los Angeles. The award I received in December from Winter has had rippling effects, and I've had to review the last 28 years of my life to reaffirm that I have taken the right steps. For the second time, this award has brought me a fated award from the City Council of the City of Los Angeles, for whom I have served for 21 years. I did not get here alone, however, and I have some people that I would like to thank. Many of you remember Mel Bliss on the City Council and Frank Kroger. Mel Bliss, Bill King, who is here today, Richard Sanchez, and Bob Martin were significant in setting my path on the road that it is today. To them, I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. Michelle Strong, my partner and film editor here, has seen me as of Wednesday through 2 degrees and 4 promotional exams. For her, I am humbled by your patience, and thank you for all your acts of kindness. You have my eternal respect. My friend also of 20-plus years is here, Phyllis Wilson, who's there in the audience sitting there. Thank you for your acts of kindness and support over the years. I will love you forever. Secretary Zinni Serrano and all the dedicated inspection, clerical, engineering, and support staff who have not only helped me, but who continue to serve the city of Los Angeles, the contractors and developers, tenants who live and work in the city of Los Angeles. They give them 100%. To the women of Winter, thank you again for this award. And finally, thank you, council members, for over the years, you and your support staff have shown support for equality, fairness, education, and many acts of kindness to members of the community. Thank you, Councilmember Laura Chick, for this honor and all the support you are showing me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Here, I need to put this in. You know what? Okay, all right. Okay.
Get one more resolution, we might break the record.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah, we'll go in the back for pictures. And now, colleagues, last but not least, and they've been waiting very, very patiently, but this is also a special moment for the department, and you can see lots of them have been waiting. Mr. Adelman told me about this award that the department received, and we have been waiting for the right moment to come in and recognize them. Little did we know that it was going to be on a day like today. But clearly, colleagues, Building and Safety Department is very much on the move in the right direction under the leadership of its new general manager, Andrew Adelman. Earlier this month, they were selected as California State's Building Officials Building Department of the Year. No small honor. To achieve this distinction, the winning department had to demonstrate a commitment to excellence, success in innovation, community service, education, code development, and customer service. This is the first time that our Building and Safety Department, and it won't be the last, I'm sure, but the first time that we have earned this title. Employees and management are working hard together, creatively and efficiently. Earning recognition like this one demonstrates that they're headed in the right direction, and I'm delighted as chair of the Public Safety Committee to be working so closely with so many talented people. Let me take this opportunity to say that it's not that my bark is worse than my bite, but I'm really engaged in the endeavor with the department to make them not only earning statewide recognition as the best building department, but to help them earn state and national recognition as the best code enforcement department as well. So with that in mind as the next award, I want to say a heartfelt congratulations, turn the mic over to Mr. Adelman, who led the department to this award, and add the City Council's congratulations as well. Thank you very much for your hard work and for your patience.
Thank you.
Mike's all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilmember Chick. On behalf of the Department of Building and Safety employees, many of whom are behind me here, I want to thank the mayor, the city council, particularly Councilmember Chick, and members of the Public Safety Committee and Board of the Building and Safety Commissioners who have encouraged us and supported us in the changes that has been made to improve the Department of Building and Safety. And quite frankly, this is a very high honor, and in the interest of time, I will stop at that and just say thank you.
Thank you very much, all the employees of Building and Safety Department.
I think I speak on behalf of my colleagues on the council. We congratulate them and thank them very much for their good service.
Yeah, I think we've all been hearing from the public who have been saying, absolutely, it's gotten better, it's working, and that's what counts for all of us.
It's with a heartfelt congratulations on both the building and the emphasis on safety. A lot of work has been done, and we want to see more done. Ms. Chick, congratulations
I spoke
to you.
for all of us.
You did?
Yeah.
Now I'm speaking for you.
Yeah. I get the message. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. you know, we do have an agenda, and we're going to get to it now.
Adjournment now. We worked hard enough today.
Let's see, what do we,
Mr. President, on the regular agenda, items number 4 and 21 are requests to continue those items to April 13th.
is there any objections to that? Seeing none, that will be the order.
Items number 1 and 2 on the regular agenda, public hearing items.
Okay, item number 1, is there anybody who wants to be heard on that item? Anybody want to be heard on that item, item number 1? If not, I think we continue this public hearing until, continue the hearing until, and the ordinance until April 9th. No objection, that will be the order.
A motion is required on item number 2.
Okay, we do have somebody who wants to be heard in favor, Ron Archer. It's really not necessary to speak. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the council, I'd just like to briefly point out the fact that on this request item for public convenience and necessity, we've spoken to the staff, chief of staff for the 7th Council District, and they're in agreement with us for a one-year plan approval in order to support the public convenience and necessity decision on the case.
Okay, thank you. That's all the cards we have, so the public hearing is closed. Do we need a motion on this?
Yes.
Yeah. Mr. Alatorre moves. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
That is approved. Next item.
Item number 3, item for which hearing has been held.
Is there any discussion on item 3? If not, prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
Those are approved forthwith. Next item.
Items number 5 through 23, with the exception of 21, which council has already acted on.
Anybody in the chamber wants to be heard in any of those items? There's no one, no cards. Anyone want to be heard? Seeing none, the public hearing's closed. Are there any specials by council members? 5 through 22.
5 through 23, with the exception of 21.
Okay, there's no special, so prepare the roll on 5 through 23 with the exception of 21, which has already been continued. Tabulate the vote.
11 ayes.
17, please.
Forthwith on 5, 7, and 17, and 10. Next item.
Now is the time for public comment.
We have a special meeting we have to follow. Leonard Rose from La Puente. Leonard, do you go to the city council in La Puente, or is it more fun to come here?
I come here because there's something very important to all cities. I received a letter to the new mayor, City La Puente, and she thanked me for the material I sent to her. This is very important about every city, different areas and neighborhood. I'm concerned of the problem with some people that live in California resident area in all cities. Like almost lots of people in California live in our street we live in. These cause lots of problems like front yard drinking and throwing trash and clothes. And our resident, we live in like the kids doing those things mostly in my friend's yard, in his yard. When I cut the grass, and I'm tired of this stuff, they put people front yard and getting worse every time they do this. My other friend used to live with my friend in a house. She'd throw, she throw, people don't throw any trash or clothes in our yard. Few weeks, she told them another next door not to give food to the dog, and the people and the dog that got diarrhea, my friend take dog to animal hospital in La Puente. I saw a piece of yellow cheese and food and candy bar, and I told my friend when I saw a cheese and I give it to them, and she talked to the parents and the kids throwing cheese, and the dog got sick, and she can't trust him at all. They caused problem. One of them give her flat tire. It cost me someone else could give flat tire, and they leave November 1998, middle of the month of November. They live somewhere else, place to live to get away, troublemaker, because they won't listen at all. Some people cause someone in trouble. When other people are not home, they throw trash and food and clothes, even someone and not there, and they do these things, especially children do all the time, do this. That's why we have problem with some people living in our area. They get arrested more than they all things without you knowing it. Who did it? Thank you for helping to help other people in our neighborhood area.
Thank you, thank you.
Here's the copy, everything.
Okay, yeah, Sergeant, you'll take that copy, put that in part of the file. Okay, the only card we have, so public comment period is closed. Members, we do have a special council meeting. We'll go into now, we'll recess our regular meeting and go into our special council meeting. Call the roll.
Alatorre, Bernstein, Schick, Fuhr, Galanter, Goldberg, Hernandez, Holden, Miskowski, Ridley Thomas, Savoni, Schwax, Walters, Ferraro, 11 members present.
Okay, the first order is item number 1. Yeah, do we have staff here on this item number 1? We have some amending motions, I believe.
We have special 1A and 1B.
Okay, give us a report on this.
I do. Molly Campbell with the City Administrative Officer. The package before you today represents what's been previously approved by the council. It's the financial element of the package necessary to fund the parking, garage, and the theater for the Hollywood Highland project. The economics are basically as was previously discussed. The total cost of the project is approximately $400 million, with the city contributing $98.5 million of that amount. Of the 98.5, approximately 68.5 million will be funding the parking facility, and approximately 32 million will be for the theater. The debt service on the parking facility will be paid through the parking revenue bonds backed by CD13, as well as the overall special parking revenue fund. The theater will be funded through MICLA, and the debt service is guaranteed by the developer. Both the theater and the parking facility will be owned by the city. We believe overall it's a wonderful project for the city, and economically it's very viable. I'd be happy to answer any questions. We also have others here that could...
Anybody else want to be heard?
Yes.
Okay.
Revenue bonds on the parking.
All right, Ms. Goldberg, I'm going to call on you first. It's your district.
Yes, first of all, there's motions 1A and 1B, which I would like to include as part of the package, and then I've been asked to make some specific statements as recommendations into the record just because they are directions to actually carry out the various specific actions that need to be taken. And they are, and a copy should be being presented to everybody. Number 1, I move to amend the CAO recommendations to add the following specific actions. To 1, receive a grant deed from the developer for a portion of the parking facility site. 2, execute a ground lease with a purchase option with the MTA for a portion of the parking facility site. 3, execute a ground lease with a purchase option with West Star Real Estate Inc. for a portion of the parking facility site. 4, execute a lease of the theater between the city and the agency for the term of the theater bonds. 5, execute a lease of the theater between the city and MICLA for the term of the theater bonds. 6, execute a lease back of the theater from MICLA to the city for the term of the theater bonds. 7, execute a lease of the theater from the city to the agency for the term of the theater bonds. 8, execute the reciprocal easement and operating agreement. 9, finalize negotiations and execute a cooperation agreement between the city and the agency. 10, finalize negotiations and execute a 40-year lease of the parking facility between the city and the agency, subject to the terms of the cooperation agreement. 11, negotiate and execute an agreement between the city clerk and the developer for any repayments or reimbursements that may be due to the developer pursuant to the developer's theater bond guarantee. This, along with 1A, which describes the method of utilizing special parking revenue fund on a proportional basis after all Council District 13 parking funds are exhausted, and Part B, which talks about a $1.2 million capital improvement to come from the $3.1 million parking revenue bonds, which are going to be involved in protecting the interest rate increases in the likelihood that that funding will not be used. That are the additions to the report. The only real change is in the amount of relocation expense, which we estimated way below what really happened. And that is that it cost about $3 million when we thought it would cost about $1 million, or a little less than that, even $750,000. And the other change that is before you is there is a reduction in anticipated interest income on the bonds because of the takedown of the money quickly to proceed with construction. That's why the amount, the par value, has been increased slightly. Also, the city attorney's office has included in it some additional safeguards, about $10 million worth of safeguards in terms of reserves and contingency funds. And basically, other than that, it's as you have seen it from the beginning, and I urge an approval.
Wax?
Well, I want to at least put in the record again why I strongly oppose this, although I notice now that it's increased about $8 million since the last time. Last time I was here was about $90 million. Now you've raised it to $98.5 million. We don't have $90 million, so we have to finance it. And the $90 million was going to cost us about $260 million over the next 30 years. Now the new number, the 98.5, is going to cost us about $300 million over the next 30 years. City is going to put up almost $300 million over the next 30 years primarily for two items: a parking garage and a theater. The parking garage, they say we're going to get our monies back through the parking revenues, but the developers absolutely refuse to guarantee it. So if we're wrong, we're stuck. And with the new change, it'll come out of the parking districts in your districts as well. In the theater, they say that we're going to get out of the taxes that they produce. They keep all the profits, and they want us to count the taxes that every other business in the city pays, none of whom yet ever have been able to use their taxes to repay their debt. Every one of the council members around here sits every other day saying, we don't have money for this. We can't take more cops. We don't have money for it. We can't have a study. We don't have money for it. We can't have this youth program. We don't have money for it. We have money to give one of the world's biggest developers, a developer whose assets are over $5 billion. One of the biggest developers in the world is asking us to put up our $300 million and that we take the risk of getting it back. They won't guarantee that. They want us to use our tax revenues, which we use for all the other city services, to pay it back while they keep all the profits. And you suddenly don't have any money every day along here to pay for all the things that your own citizens, your own constituents want you to pay. I'm just putting it in the record one more time, but I think members who vote for this will rue the day that they voted for this.
Mr. Hernandez?
I just want to make sure I also had some clarity on some of the financing issues before us. My understanding, the original proposal was looking at about 56% of the potential increments, the parking revenue and so forth, would be, well, not necessarily the parking revenue, but we were investing about 44% back into the project, and 56% we would be retaining. And these changes now basically are requiring 46% back into the project and 54% retention. So it's about the difference, almost to 4%. Is that correct?
Well, yes,
so that's what the increase is about in terms of our particular participation in this project. One of the questions I was having is, as I was looking at the wording for the parking revenue part of it in terms of developing the parking structure, it was recommended by the CAO's office that the wording had to make sure it included the city's ability to set the parking rates. And is that a true fact?
Yes, the document will.
Now, is there any wording in regards to the financing of that parking structure that would allow this council to basically, I know the Department of Transportation is going to be making that decision, but before it steps into the role of taking parking meter revenues outside beyond the 13th district, if this council is going to have the opportunity to review those rates?
I think that would naturally flow from the provision that the Department of Transportation, which is the city department, gets to set those rates. So if the council wanted to look at the rates at that time, they would be able to do so.
How do we make that part of the agreement?
I believe the rates now are reviewed as DOT sets the rates on parking. It's reviewed by the council.
Yeah, but I'm talking about before it's triggered that parking meter monies or parking revenue monies citywide would be used prior to the, I want to make sure that the council has the opportunity to review the rates of the parking structure before that is triggered.
We could come back to the council with those proposals before it's actually approved.
In writing?
Forward, yes.
Okay.
Or talk to DOT and have them do that.
Now, the reason I bring that up, members of the council, is because what has happened with some previous parking structures is the reality that we've been asked to reduce them, and that's what happened in my district in regards to the Empress Pavilion. And we were being asked to reduce those rates, and if an action like that was taken, it would definitely have an impact on the financing of this project, but more important on the general parking meter monies citywide. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that was included as part of the wording that we would be voting on.
I think that was a motion that you made for us to go to the Empress Pavilion now.
No. I was talking about the Shrine Auditorium. I thought you did.
Mrs. Walters, do you want to be heard?
Council members, as I said to Ms. Goldberg in committee the other day, I wasn't in council when this project originally came to council. Had I been, I would have opposed it. I think this is far too much of a giveaway of city monies for a developer that can afford to take the risk on it. They want to come in and take all the profit, if there is any, and let us take all the risk, or the major portion of the risk of it. I voted against this in committee, will vote against it again today. And one of my objections is the parking meter money, that it was going to, if it doesn't pan out, if it doesn't pay for itself, then they're going to go grab parking meter money from around the city, and guess who gets to pay the most? I have introduced 1A to assure that this is proportionately taken from the council districts who generate parking meter money, and not all from one district, which usually winds up being CD9. The concerns, though, do not stop there. The part of the presentation said in committee, and I believe I heard it here, that the city is going to own the parking structure. Well, and the theater. And here we have an amendment to this that talks about a grant deed from the developer for a portion of the parking facility site. So when does the city own it if we're only going to get a grant deed for a portion of it, the parking facility site? Further, number 2 talks about a ground lease with a purchase option with MTA for a portion of the parking facility site. Number 3 says a ground lease with a purchase option with Webstar Real Estate, whoever they are, for a portion of the parking facility site. Now, I don't know how many portions the parking facility has, but I'm certainly concerned about this when we're told that the city will own the parking facility and the theater. Then it talks about a lease of the theater between the city and the agency, and I assume that's CRA. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You folks
correct.
get the softest voices when you're called to testify. Further down in number 10, it talks about finalize negotiations and execute a 40-year lease of the parking facility between the city and the agency. So who owns the parking facility? The city, the agency, the real estate company, the developers? Who owns the parking facility? It doesn't sound like the city owns it. Or what portion does it own, and how many portions is this going to be divided into?
Okay, let me just clarify the real estate questions for you. The parking facility is totally subterranean. It is comprised of 3 parcels, one which the developer owns in fee today. The other 2 parcels are a piece from the MTA and a piece from the owners of the Chinese Theater. We have, as part of the deal, with the city will be getting a 99-year ground lease of those 2 parcels for a nominal amount, $1. And there'll be a purchase option for $1 at the end of that 99 years. The parking structure will be built on all 3 of those parcels. So there will be an actual parking facility that the city will own. The city will then lease that parking facility to the agency, but not in a traditional lease sense. It's an operational lease, so that all of the revenues from the parking structure at all times will go into the citywide parking revenue fund, and the obligations of the parking facility will be paid for out of the citywide parking revenue fund. The agency will merely oversee the management consistent with DOT and with what the city council has asked for today in terms of the rates, so that there is, the agency who negotiated the deal would be able to ensure that the facility is maintained according to what the REA requires and what the deal was. And it's really a management agreement. It's not a real lease.
Council members, I tried to exempt CD9 from this in committee without success, and I think it ought to be a project that is reserved for CD13, for that to be to generate the revenue. It either generates the revenue to pay for it, or it does not. It certainly shouldn't be a debt against the rest of the citywide parking fund that may in the future keep districts from doing what they need to do in their own district vis-a-vis parking.
Let me, before I call Ms. Goldberg, let me just say that if you recall, my district is just north of this project, and a lot of the impact on traffic is in my district. And I defied my constituents because I think this is such an important project for Hollywood. I think there's been improvements since this announcement of this project, and I think that Hollywood has been really a cesspool in the city of Los Angeles. People come from all over the world to see Hollywood, and the moment they see it, they regurgitate and leave. And let's try to make it a place that we can all be very proud of, and so that's why I'm going to support this. Ms. Goldberg.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to point out a couple of things, just so that for the record to be straight. The additional amount of money is all in reserve funds. If you look on page 9 of the report, the debt service reserve fund of $7 million was not there, and was not requested by the developer, but was requested by the CAO's office. I think it's prudent, and that's what it's doing there. The debt service reserve fund on page 10 of $4.7 million was also not requested by the developer, but requested by the CAO as a contingency against difficulty, and I think it's wise, and that's the increase in the amount of money, with the exception of the 2 items I mentioned, which is we didn't estimate appropriately on the relocation costs. That is correct. And the interest on the, at the very beginning, the interest on the bonds we also overestimated because of the quick drawdown. As to guarantees, also on page 9, you will see that the bond, there is a corporate guarantee of the developer's California parent corporation for the live theater. It is a guarantee, period. It is a guarantee. However, the guarantee for the parking bonds are only dealing with 3 consecutive years after 11 years, and after the project has performed at 150% of debt service for 3 consecutive years. So it is true. Technically, that means years 12, 13, and 14. If we have not in years 12, 13, and 14 at 150% of debt service come out of the project, then the developer is still on the hook for guaranteeing those bonds as well. I think it's important to say that because the point of this is that this deal was designed to pay for itself and to also provide revenues, not take revenues. Now, in the worst-case scenario, we now have built in here, I'm sorry, that's the theater, you're right, it wasn't parking, it's theater. We have built in here, in the worst-case scenario, $11.7 million in debt reserve funds. We have, in the worst-case scenario, a guarantee on the theater. We have virtually no expert, inside or outside of the city, who says that the parking will not pay for itself. But if it doesn't, we have just now, in this motion, built in $7 million in debt reserve fund for the parking bonds. So I do not believe this is a high risk. I do agree that it is a large subsidy. I have always said that. I believe, however, that Hollywood is still a part of the city of Los Angeles, and part of the city of Los Angeles that I believe, with the items that are coming up and that this begins with, will actually produce revenue for the very items that all of us are looking for. And if I didn't believe that, I wouldn't support it myself.
Mr. Fuhr?
I move the question.
Mr. Fuhr moves the previous question. Okay, well, then Mr. Burnson wants to be heard, so we'll...
Very brief. First of all, Joel, I appreciate your fiscal watchdog ability, but in this case, I think that these are revenue bonds, not general obligation bonds. It is going to do a great deal of benefit to that area. I think it will result in additional taxes, both in property and sales tax to the city. Not only that, the city will directly get some money from the parking, because we do charge a surcharge on parking around the city. That'll be coming into the city coffers. So I would urge an aye vote on it.
Jerry, did you want to say something, Jerry?
Just two technical changes on 1B. On the last whereas, it says parking revenue bonds. It just needs to say bonds. Also, the ordinance before you on the second item, the city attorney needs an instruction to amend that to include the Shrine Auditorium that's talked about in 1B, and then bring it back.
Okay, Ms. Goldberg moves that. Mrs. Walters.
Yes. During Ms. Goldberg's presentation, she referenced that the relocation cost had been underestimated and the interest had been overestimated. Mr. Malloy, how much, by what figure was the relocation underestimated?
2.2 million.
2.2 million council members underestimated on relocation. And why was that underestimated, Mr. Malloy?
Well, there were a variety of factors that went into that. Relocation continues to be our most difficult area to estimate. Actually, as the relocation claims were settled, we ran into a series of goodwill claims that were not anticipated originally.
And what had you previously estimated to move all these businesses out for? What was the figure that was estimated?
The original figure was 750,000.
750,000. So they underestimated it. It's 3 times what it was already. And the agency is supposed to have experience in this and didn't assess the businesses, didn't do enough groundwork ahead of time with the businesses to estimate the figure that was truly needed. The overestimation of the interest income, and what was that all about?
Well, in the original proposal, we had anticipated using some construction period interest for some of the expenses that are now included in the bond issue. The bonds are actually going to be issued a little bit later than we had originally anticipated, and in addition to that, the drawdown schedule is faster because the developer is moving fast, so there won't be as much construction period interest. Therefore, those expenses will have to be covered out of the bond proceeds. But again, it doesn't change the essential fact that the bonds will be covered by parking revenues, and that the bonds on the theater will be totally covered by revenues generated from the project and guaranteed by the developer.
Council members, all of these things are estimates. And if the estimates on the rest of it is as faulty as the agency estimates on the interest and the relocation, we're in for some trouble, whether it's 11 years out or at a sooner time. I support the revitalization of areas of the city. Certainly Hollywood needed to be revitalized. CD9 needs to be revitalized. But they didn't need an arena developer that's taking money that could be utilized for housing. They've got $12 million of CRA money that could have been used for housing. The CRA doesn't, the Hollywood needs redevelopment, but they need it to be paid for by the developer and not by the city of using funds that could contribute to other needs of the city. And I urge a no vote.
Thank you. Mrs. Chick.
Yes, I'd like to move the previous question.
No, we have other people who want to be heard, so.
Can we take a vote on?
Well, it takes 10 votes. And Mr. Wax.
I'm going to be calm. Sitting here, calm down. Let me make 2 points and then reiterate 2 points and then raise another point, because obviously this is going to be, you have your mind made up, you're going to get the votes. The guarantees. The guarantee of the developer is basically on the theater, but that guarantee is repaid in a manner that no other business in the history of the city of LA, including the arena, ever got. They are going to be repaid with sales, business, other taxes that no other business ever gets to use. In essence, every business in this city pays taxes. This is beyond tax increment. This is the other one. Pays taxes to get city services delivered to their business. This business will pay taxes, get the same services everyone else gets, and get to use that amount to offset their debt. That's what the arena wanted to do, and that's what we stopped them from doing. This is the first time ever this is going to be done. That's the guarantee. And the guarantee of the parking is not there in the way that assures that we don't have to eat into all the other parking funds. That said, you're going to vote for it because you think it's going to revitalize Hollywood, and it's going to do a lot of great things, and the revenues are going to be there. In the next several months, we are going to be getting a series of studies, I think 4 parts over the next 6 months, that for at least one of the first times has tried to look into just what benefits our investments, our various kinds of subsidies that we have made in various ways to various businesses in the CRA and outside the CRA, just what they really have produced, and just what they really do cost, and just what the options really are for providing the same goals and all. And I think that you're going to find that they're almost never what they predict. Their predictions of revenues have been off from day one. What do you think the CRA is in the mess it is now for? What do you think it has the kind of debt it has now for? What do you think it's scurrying around to look for more funds because it can't pay it for? Because a lot of the estimates, a lot of the promises haven't materialized. And a lot of the benefits have also not materialized. I hope this does what it says it'll do. At least then we'll get something for our money. I venture to say that these developers would do this anyway. It's just like the arena. They didn't walk away because they knew there was plenty in there for them. And they knew what the value of the naming rights were. And they knew what the value of the advertising rights were. And they knew their future plans for further development of the area. I don't blame the developers. They're going to all ask for everything that they can get. And they're going to tell you if you don't give it to them, they're going to walk. But the fact is that there's enough in it for them to keep them from walking. We should drive a tougher bargain. We are not driving a tough enough bargain here. We can well be on the hook from it, and it's going to be on the hook at the expense of all other city services that we could be providing with the money that we'll ultimately be on the hook for if their estimates are wrong or their benefit predictions are not right. And that's the risk you're taking without having done the kind of analysis. Thank God these studies are beginning to be made, because they're beginning to take a look at the first time. It's a huge subject to study, but at least through the Alliance and UCLA and all, you're going to start seeing some of the studies that we should be making before we make these kinds of investments.
Thank you. Mr. Hernandez.
Again, the CAO's report talked about tax increments and the reality that now 46% of those increments would be needed to refinance the project. What happens to the other 54%?
It goes into the city general fund.
And what are those estimates?
They're in excess of $3 million a year.
Okay, and so that what we're using basically, if there was about $6.5 million that would be generated of increments, we're using 46% of that to refinance the project. 54% goes into the general fund.
Right.
And these are increments based on the investment in the project actually happening. If the project was not to happen, we wouldn't have those increments.
That's correct.
Now, of the money that's going into the general fund, are we using any of that money to refinance this project?
No, that's available for other city services.
So that's additional monies.
Correct.
Now, in taking the increments of those businesses, that we take into account the sales taxes that would be paid by those businesses?
Yes.
And how much of that would be going into the general fund?
Well, the split goes across, we're using transient occupancy tax, sales tax, utility users tax, and business tax, and the 54% that goes to the general fund is essentially 54% of all of those combined.
So you took all the taxes,
Right.
including parking revenue taxes and so
No,
forth?
not parking.
Okay. How about real estate taxes increases?
The property taxes, I believe most of those will flow to the agency and are not computed in that.
And the agency will be using that in other areas of Hollywood?
Yes.
And I guess, you know, what I'm trying to bring out in regards to the project, because Ms. Goldberg on several occasions has indicated to us that, you know, if we can revitalize Hollywood, that is ready for that to happen right now. The reality is we're going to have more increments to be able to invest in the rest of the city. Would you say that's an accurate perception?
Without putting up the necessary resources to raise this revenue, we will not get that additional revenue. And so, yes, the answer to that is yes, you will have net additional revenue to expend on other city functions.
And so right now, your estimates, and again, I just wanted to put in perspective what's before us, because the changes that have been proposed basically reduce that potential revenue from 56 to 54%.
2%, correct.
Right, okay.
Ms. Goldberg?
Just in interest of complete discussion, the other mistaken estimation was on how much the bond interest rate, only at least this is good news. It was estimated it would be 7.25% on the theater, now we think it'll be 6.5%. It was estimated that it would be 6% on the parking, and now we think it'll be 5.1%. That saves about $500,000 a year in debt service over 26 years. That's about $13 million. So all of the estimations that were made were just estimates, but they didn't all go in one direction. Some of them are actually a $13 million savings over the 26 years.
Mrs. Chick? I thought you were going to move the previous question.
I'd like to move the previous question.
Okay, is there any objection to the previous question? Seeing none, the debate has been terminated. Okay, the first item is 1A. 1A, that is Mrs. Chick's, Mrs. Waller's motion. Who's second? Who's on that?
Alatorre Goldberg.
Okay. All right, prepare the roll on that. 1A. Tabulate the vote.
10 ayes, 1 no.
That is approved. Now we have 1B as amended. Prepare the roll on 1B as amended. Tabulate the vote. Tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 2 noes.
That is approved. Now we have 1 as amended. Prepare the roll. Tabulate the vote.
9 ayes, 2 noes.
And that is approved, and the ordinance will withhold on that. It'll go over 1 week.
Our next meeting will then be Tuesday. We're in recess in 1 week. It'll be April 6th.
So it'll be April 6th will be when the ordinance will be back. Okay, then we'll adjourn the special meeting and go back to the open session, the regular session. Okay, what's left on the desk?
The desk is clear.
Okay, we have any adjourning motions? Would everyone please stand? Mr. Alatorre.
Yeah, Mr. President, members, I'd like to adjourn the memory of Juanita Centeno. She was one of the founders and vice president of the Mothers of East Los Angeles. Hernandez, if you wanted to join me. Yes. And the second, Josephine Del Campo. She died of natural causes, and she's the mother of Red Martinez, the Commissioner of Public Works. So all members.
All members. All members. Mr. Hernandez?
Members of the council, we also might want to make this an all-member adjourning motion. I ask that we adjourn in the name of Evelyn Levitt, and she passed away on Tuesday, March 23rd. Her daughter, Sue Claire Flores, worked for the Community Development Department, and I was asking on Tuesday how her mother was doing, and that was the day that she passed away.
All members. Call the roll.